No, never give up, never surrender.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
Never forget the elephant in the room. It's actually such a big elephant that I don't think people can even breathe in that room. There's such a huge elephant. It's the number one preventable cause of death in Australia. So when you are taking a precautionary approach, when you're like, no, we just don't know enough, I just tell them, shut up, because that just, I don't know, is killing people right now.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
It's not about really quitting smoking. Their ideological viewpoint against vaping is so strong and so weird. Like, honestly, it's just weird. I don't know why it invokes this incredible sort of anger from these people. I mean, this colleague of mine said to me when I first moved to get the inquiry up, her comment to me was, why don't they just use a patch? And I said to her, do you smoke? And she's like, no. I said, have you ever smoked? And she said, no. And I said, well, shut up then. You don't know how hard it is to quit smoking.
An engorged penis.
Well, there's something over my head. What is this? I have to remove this. Give me 1 second. There we go. I removed it. Hey, how's it going? Welcome and hello and welcome my fellow vapors and hello my fellow vapors and all of that stuff. Look how scruffy I look. This is what happens when you're at home convalescing from surgery. Good news is I'm mostly like walking around inside my house without my assistive device, without my crutch or cane. But yeah, if I go outside, I still probably feel like I need something for safety. But anyway, what's up? What's going on? I have to apologize before we bring Kevin in because a few minutes before we were going live, I'm setting up the show and I get this sudden urge to go to the restroom, to go take a crap. And I hobbled, didn't run, hobbled to the restroom. And while I was there, I was like, oh, I better tell him that, I'll send him the link. So I said, hey, I'll send you the link for the show as soon as I get off the crapper. And he got really, he sent a really expletive laden message. It was sort of like he was frightened. And I was like, what? Now you're picturing me vooping right now? Is that what you're doing? Are you imagining that? But anyway, so I apologize to Kevin because I put a mental image that he did not want to see in his head. So anyway, hey, yeah, I'm doing a little bit better. I did order a stationary recumbent bicycle and it came in the mail at 8:00 tonight. The UPS guy dropped it off. So tomorrow I will be putting it together so that I can rehab better. I have a lot of other exercise equipment, treadmill. I have a rowing machine. I have an inclined rowing machine actually. And now I will have the recumbent bike. So anyway, hey, there's Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Your vooping thing, took away the glance engorged penis comment. And then I heard it on the trailer and now I don't know what to think.
Now you're thinking again. But hey, Tom and Matt and Nick and Mark and Kevin, you're in the room, and Troop is in the room, and there's a couple other people in the room. David Moyle's in the room. More people need to be in the room. So do us a favor, share this broadcast to the places where you would share stuff that you want people to see.
Someone to Jerry.
I was vooping, so I didn't actually have the few minutes necessary to share it to the places that I normally share it to. So, go ahead and share it. Share it around. Hey, Nick. Speaking of Nick, and cigars. So this is so first we have the plum cigar.
Can't blame it on
and
voodoo
we
piss.
have the regular cigar, and now we have a new flavor that is a peach bourbon cigar. I haven't tested this one. This one I just made on the 27th, so it needs to sit for about 2 weeks.
You can mail that right from your desk. You don't even have to leave the house anymore.
Actually, I don't have anything to put it in to mail it, and I would prefer
they will
to have mailers. I need mailers to mail stuff in. So what I want to do is get some mailers and put these samples that I want to send to the few people that I trust to send them to. And then plus I only mix my stuff in 12 milligrams. So it has to be something that, people, especially, it has to be in the contiguous US. I can't send. There are some people that I would like to send it to in other countries, but so yeah, this one's a new one. It smells amazing already. So yeah, this one is a beauty. This one is new.
Have you with your time done a few other flavors as well that you want to share?
Actually, no, because I felt because when I mix, I move the chair out of the way, and I have the computer here, and I have the recipe here, and the mixing stuff over there. So normally I'm sort of walking back and forth between the computer monitor and the good thing about my computer monitors is they're on swing arms, so I can lift them up and stand if I want to and look at the monitor and walk back and so forth. And I wasn't able to do that until this week. So I didn't get a lot of that time in, but I've read like 4 books.
Damn. See,
I a book a week. So yeah. Will says that he's excited because he's out of Facebook jail. I see all these people, Kevin, that are like catching bans and stuff, like on Facebook and on Twitter and all this. And I'm like, what is it that I have to do to get one? Because I've never been banned anywhere, man. I've said some pretty awful shit to people.
I have Twitter twice and Facebook once, and it was about 3 years ago, and I don't remember why offhand.
So I mean, I saw somebody posting today, I'm out of Facebook jail. And I'm like, how literally, what do you have to do? Like, I've picked fights with attorneys on Facebook. I've, said some pretty bad things on Facebook, and I have not caught a ban, which is strange for me. Owl is in the room. I really want Owl because, what we need to do is do an interest poll, because Owl does these like really cool things with like vape bans and stuff. I think we should have like a Son of Liberty and Vaping It vape bracelet. I like these things. This is not a vape band. My logo wouldn't look good on a vape band because it's so detailed and it wouldn't fit good on here. But on a bracelet, it would be okay. Yeah. Yeah. Press the heart button too many times is what. Who was it? James Jarvis got like a temporary like froze or freeze on his Facebook because he had a birthday and he thanked too many people individually.
Well,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like literally, people are getting banned for shit. I mean, I just don't get it. I know we're in the cancel culture where we like to cancel people that say things that hurt our feelings, and I hurt people's feelings all the time. I'm not asking for you to report stuff just to get me banned, because then I'll feel like I'm part of the club. But you know what I'm saying.
You get off the show and you won't see anything for 3 days.
Dude, I have literally posted other than this show, I've made one post on Facebook in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even a post. It was a comment on somebody else's post.
Yeah.
And I have not tweeted. I have been sort of just binge watching. Like, I think I'm getting close to what they said, some of the warning signs of depression.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm able to get in my car now. I was going to go get a haircut today and get rid of the scruff, but then it rained. And then in my head, I pictured me trying to get in to the place with wet pavement on a crutch or on a cane and busting my head open or breaking my leg again. And then I felt like, you know what, I'll just wait. So maybe tomorrow, if it's not raining, I'll go get a haircut.
All right. Get them all cut.
Well, you know, it's all one. If you just pull it, it's like a sweater. It's it'll just all come out. It's
That's
one
what
long
happens.
hair.
That's what happens to drop bears.
Yeah. Drop Bears isn't even here yet. So
You had a little. Oh, I forgot to tag Rudy. Somebody tagged Rudy.
oh yes, get that old long bearded guy.
Haircuts
Well,
are
Nick says haircuts are overrated, but he's just mad because he ain't got no hair. Except on it, he's probably like one of those like stereotypical Italian guys that's got like a fur coat on his back, but you know, his wife probably has to shave him with a bush hog. So what the hell have you been doing?
Nothing. Watching the boy and finishing the garage and fucking around and watching lumber prices go like extremely crazy, and I don't understand it all. So
Yeah.
I got blocked by somebody for showing them an Eric Garner meme today. That was fun. That surprised me. I saw you had.
Hey, Ron Marshall's here. Ron Marshall says, "Hey," with
Ron,
2 exclamation points.
Welcome home. Why are you on the internet at all? Uh-oh. Paul's in the room. I saw you had substitute Kevin's last week.
I did because, you know, I did text you and say I was going to be late. And
I was sleeping by the time you went.
Then there was no obligation for you to come because I was going to be late. So then I said, hey, Paul's never doing anything. So I got Paul. And then Big Knowledge was in the chat room. And I'm like, oh, well, he's always fun. Let's bring him in.
There's Bruni.
So we talked about chocolate. And the very next day because we did speak about chocolate again.
Mm-hmm.
The very next day I found something that was a chocolate covered pickle.
Oh,
and I sent it to him on Twitter and he was horrified, I say.
What? I don't understand that, but all right.
Chocolate covered pickle?
I don't like pickles, but I don't understand the taste.
Oh, JoJo's is here.
Whew. I missed Paul.
JoJo's is here. My very good friend, the wife of my brother from another mother, who I haven't spoken to in a long time. Monkey Mendez, Armando Mendez, who used to be on Smoke Free Vaping Militia Radio with me.
Ooh,
she is an Australian. She's an Australian.
Can we say drop bears then?
Tell Monkey. So Armando Monkey, he designed my logo, the one that's right here on the right hand corner of your screen. He did the logo for my show.
Sweet.
After I nagged him forever. I nagged him. He was making logos for all sorts of people and they were all awesome. And he did all of our graphics for the Vaping Militia. And finally he's like, fine, I'll make you one.
Well, he said
that's what persistence, man.
He's right beside me.
He's right beside me.
See, there you go. He probably doesn't like you either.
Yeah. Well, nobody does.
No.
But hey, you know, there's vaping stuff going on all over the world, right?
What is all this crap you sent me?
I sent you a whole bunch of stuff. I wanted to bring this one on because this is a friend of our show. This is one of our ex guests. And and she's from New Zealand.
She's done with us. She's an ex.
I think it's New Zealand. I can't tell what this word is.
Yeah.
I've always had problems with this word. I'm gonna throw it into I'm gonna throw it on screen because I don't know what this word means, and it kind of scares me because I'm generally pretty good at words.
Sound it out.
So this is from Nancy Lucas, and we know that Nancy is part of the whole what's the word?
Movement.
Oceania. She's like over there in the New Zealand and Australia and the Philippines and Southeast Asia, and she's part of that whole crew over there. But what is this word right here? Otiroa.
We should have asked her.
Well, I didn't think about it at the time.
Well, with the accent, I don't know.
No, I know. JoJo's could probably type it phonetically into the chat room because she is. Oh, so yes, Yolanda and Tom are both Kiwis, and both of them have pointed out that is Maori for New Zealand. That's the Maori word for New Zealand. You learn something new every day.
Makes it better.
So this is actually a blog that Nancy wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's part of this whole AVCA. That's the Ateria vaping, blah, blah, blah. That word scares me. Yes, words can be painful if you don't know how to say them right. And you don't want to look like an idiot. They're very dangerous. So everywhere that I see this word, I'm going to say New Zealand or Maori New Zealand, because I am sure that if I try to pronounce it, it will not be correct.
At least they don't put U's after the O.
U's after the O. Oh, yes.
Like in English.
So anyway, the government's Smoke-Free New Zealand 2025 action plan provides the country with the best opportunity to deliver on the 2011 national smoke-free ambition. However, if we are to succeed, we need to use all the tools in our toolbox and follow the evidence, not the emotion. Thankfully, new Associate Health Minister, Dr. Aisha Viral, intimately understands public health and tobacco harm reduction. Her recently released action plan discussion document showcases the bold measures that need to be taken if we are to become smoke-free, meaning 5% or less smoking. Oh, Matthew actually helped me out. Aotearoa. Is that correct? Aotearoa. Anyway, however, if we are, did I already say that one? Oh, yeah, no, that's where we are. Yeah. However, if we are to succeed, we need to use all the. No, I already read that. Where was I at, Kevin?
You were
meaning smoke-free or less. With the consultation period now underway, one key thing that is absent is the explicit knowledge that vaping is by far the most smoke-free tool we have, the best smoke-free tool we have. In fact, it's the most effective smoking cessation tool the world has ever seen. International evidence points to vaping being considerably less harmful than smoking. Public Health England puts it at 95% less harmful. Not true. It's at least 95% less harmful. Evidence also concludes that unlike smoking, there is no secondhand risk to others. Not according to Stan. At 11.6%, the number of adult New Zealanders smoking is at an all-time low. This has been achieved by increasing tobacco excise and through education. As it stands, smoking still kills about 5,000 Kiwis a year, or 12 people a day. With approximately 200,000 adult Kiwis now regular vapors, vaping's contribution to the lower smoking rate has also been significant. In short, vaping has been very successful at getting Kiwis off the cancer sticks. It will also be key to others quitting if vaping products remain accessible and appealing to adult smokers keen to switch. I can't tell because Dave or Will is asking if the web or if the stream is breaking up. I can't tell because I'm streaming it. Nobody else is saying anything. Aotearoa. 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 See, now I've gotten two different pronunciations from two different Kiwis. So anyway, one of the big threats to smoke-free, however, is the tendency for some community leaders and commentators to treat smoking and vaping as almost the same. It is ridiculous lumping when one has killed 50,000 Kiwis in the past 10 years, while the other has not led to one reported death in New Zealand, but has instead saved thousands of lives. Some have claimed that there's a vaping epidemic in our secondary schools, with many highly emotive anecdotes making the media, but they're simply not backed by evidence. See, here's the thing about that word epidemic. In the prohibitionist mind, in the ideologue's mind, one kid is an epidemic.
Well, yeah.
One. So if one kid is vaping, that's an epidemic. If two kids are vaping, it's spreading.
It's a pandemic.
It can't be a pandemic if it's only one kid in New Zealand. But the problem is when Stan was in New Zealand a year and a half ago, October of 2019, he brought the epidemic with him.
Mm-hmm.
He is patient zero of the epidemic.
Yep.
Here's the empirical data. Last year, after examining a survey of over 27,000 students, University of Auckland researchers confirmed that no youth vaping epidemic in New Zealand. They found that only 0.8% of 14 and 15-year-olds were regular vapers. What's more, currently only 0.4% of teenagers over the age of 16 are daily users of vaping products, compared to 3% of youth who smoke cigarettes daily. So let me ask you something. This is for my Kiwis, but I'm sure this is also relevant here. Because we already know we discussed this 2 or 3, maybe 4 shows ago, where we discussed that they tried to conduct a study, and they surveyed all of these people, and they couldn't find enough youth vapors.
That's correct.
To meet the criteria of their study.
Yes.
So then they tried to adjust the criteria so that they could still conduct a study. And even after they adjusted the numbers, they still didn't have enough to conduct a study. So then they did a study, or they released a paper saying that they were failures at conducting a study because they didn't have enough. So
it's
ridiculous.
Nowhere near nationally reported numbers. Nowhere near it.
So if they're trying to restrict access to products, vaping products, that only 0.4% of the teenagers in that age group, in the above 16,
who likely quit smoking doing so.
But there are 3%, 3, not 0.3, 3% of youth smoke cigarettes daily. What do they think? And it's already illegal for them to get those products, right, Kevin?
That's correct.
How successful can they be? Because they're not reducing access to cigarettes any more than they already have. No. And 3% of the kids in their country use those cigarettes.
Yep.
It's already illegal for them to have them. So how successful? I mean, if they do the same things with vaping products, which I'm sure they've already done, I'm sure it's already illegal for kids to vape or to buy vaping products. How low are they expecting that point to do? I mean, literally, are they, if they're saying that 5% of smoking, which is the goal nationwide, is part of their smoke-free policy.
And the teenagers are already below that goal.
You know, yeah. It seems to me like that they're doing a make work for themselves.
You think?
Yeah. So the conflation of anecdotes and the twisting of statistics to muddle experimentation with daily use is a common tactic. However, it's not borne out in the data readily available in the government websites. Then there's the old chestnut that vaping's colors, flavors, and packaging all supposedly attract teenagers to vaping. However, those continue to run this line overlook the fact that new government regulations being rolled out address all of those issues. So they must be going for plain packaging in New Zealand. So vaping products are restricted to 18, and if the retailers are caught in breach, tough penalties apply. Nor can young teenagers buy vapes online by ticking a box claiming they're 18 or over. So R18 courier bags have long been used by the likes of Alt New Zealand for ordering online, where carriers must cite identification before handling packages over. The policy is now, in fact, mandatory for all national carrier companies to endorse or enforce when delivering vaping products. So they already have age verification on the books.
And Chuck just clarified it's not illegal for them to vape or buy in New Zealand. It's illegal to sell or supply nicotine product.
Well, I mean, I'm going to take this off screen for a second. I'm going to remove this. So we already know that all of the body part groups, all the public health people, they've gone out of their way to make sure that we don't dissuade the kids from using these products by removing any penalties for the kids.
Correct.
So here in the States, even, there is usually no penalty. And if legislation is written that contains a penalty for the minor user,
they don't like that.
The body part groups all stand apart and they will push against that. So,
but why?
Yeah. Well, because they don't really want kids to stop. They want to use that chestnut for as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So if they said, hey, if you're a kid and you get caught vaping, you're gonna get yourself a mandatory X number of hours of community service.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to, because if they find the kid, the parents are going to pay for it. The kid doesn't get penalized. The parents get penalized.
Yes.
So it needs to be mandatory community service. And here is an anti-tobacco education program that you have to go through. Where did you buy it? Because we're going to make the seller also pay something and also attend some sort of re-education program, you know. But yeah, any time legislation gets introduced that includes some sort of penalty to the kids,
they do not.
They push that away. Hello, Addie Tooney.
Hello.
Yeah, they don't want the kids to be punished.
That's a
because
back
ultimately
and forth thing. I've had discussions about this. On one hand, I don't want it to be criminal. I don't want them to have felonies. That's not
no. I think they should have to do community service. They should be raking leaves and picking up trash.
I want Karen to know
in a big ugly vest
that little Jimmy was fucking around, and little Jimmy's got a $100 fine first offense, then $500 the second, and then $1,000 the third. Karen will get tired of paying that out.
Well, in a world where mom and dad can't spank their kids for doing something,
that too,
they're just gonna pay the fine and take Jimmy's Xbox away for a week or something. And they still got their tablet, they still got their cell phone, they still got, So I think, making them go out and wear a bright orange vest on the side of the freeway, picking up trash, will dissuade them way more than fining mom and dad $100.
Yep.
So I think they should penalize the kids, and it's not a they could put it in the lowest level of misdemeanor
Right. To be expunged, right?
When you turn 18, it's going to disappear.
Yeah, not that I know anything about that, but yeah, exactly.
Oh, Kevin.
Mom didn't need to be a Karen.
I'm gonna throw Nancy's blog into the chat room. Y'all go read it at your leisure. It's only got a little bit more, but yeah. Hey, Kev.
What?
Hey, Kev, did you know?
Probably not.
That there's actually a federal tobacco tax, right, on cigarettes?
Yeah, there is.
Now, the federal tobacco tax is actually on a pack of cigarettes is the cheapest tax that's on a pack of cigarettes.
And then every state.
Just saying, there's a thing that exists that's a tobacco tax, a cigarette tax, that's on a pack of cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Now, there are a group of senators. There are a group of senators in the United States that have announced their intentions to establish a federal vaping tax, e-cigarette tax, that would be equivalent to the tax that's already in place on cigarettes.
Ain't that neat?
So they want tax parity.
Yes, they do.
Tax
Why
parity.
do you think that is?
Well, they're making a little bit less money. But there's no way to do that.
You don't think?
No. I mean, they can create some sort of per milliliter tax or per milligram tax. But the way that no two vapors vape exactly the same.
No.
So a 2-pack, if I was a 2-pack a day smoker when I was a smoker, and you were a 2-pack a day smoker when you were a smoker, and Will Webb or Tom Morowitz or Yolanda or Dion in the chat room were 2-pack a day smokers, but now that we're vapors, I can guarantee you most of us don't vape the same.
No, nowhere near it.
So there's no possible way to make that a fair tax, right?
But is it going to be on the consumption or is it going to be on the manufacturer?
Well, it would be on the consumer, just like the tobacco tax is on the consumer.
Right.
So, if I'm vaping 12 milligram and I vape 5 mils a day, and you are an 18 milligram vapor and you vape 3 mils a day.
You got it. That's about
or
right.
Tom Morowitz is a 6 milligram vapor and he vapes 60 mils a day. So there's no, if their justification is to vape or is to write legislation that's somehow supposed to be equivalent to a pack of cigarettes.
Chris, you're already where I am. Yes. So if they ban it, how can they tax it?
Well,
they've put themselves into a quandary.
Well, no. There's because
they know better. They know better.
They're just throwing everything against the wall to see what will stick.
Yeah.
So vaping post, and I really don't really like to put a lot of stock into the vaping news websites, but I'll read this one because it's
You see who it is.
Michael McGrady. So, Mike is all right. We've had him on the show, right?
Yes. Friend of the show.
Long time ago. We should probably get him back on at some point. Senators introduced legislation to establish a federal e-cigarette tax. So, Democrat senators Dick Durbin, Ron Wyden, and U.S. Representative Raja Krishnamurthy, and 7 others introduced a bicameral form of the so-called Tobacco Tax Equity Act of 2021. According to the office of Senator Durbin, who serves as the majority whip, now that sounds kind of like BDSM to me, the bill would reduce youth tobacco use by closing certain loopholes in the tax code that the tobacco industry has long exploited to avoid certain regulations and taxes for their products. The bill would also apply tax parity across tobacco products, including establishing the first federal e-cigarette tax and increasing the tobacco tax rate for the first time. Some public health experts claim the price of tobacco products is the single most effective way to reduce tobacco use, especially amongst youth. Kevin.
What?
Now, I think we've addressed this multiple times on this show in the past. As somebody that came from a less than wealthy background, myself, I'm talking about myself. When I was at the point in my time when I had to choose whether I would eat or buy cigarettes, cigarettes always won.
I was collecting pop bottles. That's how old I am.
Yes, I know you're old. And days when the dinosaurs ruled the earth.
So Dick with the whip, that's just sad. He wants
that is
to
really bad.
Prevent children from starting a habit, but he doesn't talk about the laws that are ineffective. Go ahead. So,
tobacco-related disease accounts for 1 out of every 5 deaths in America, and I know that story firsthand, says Senator Durbin. So did he die from tobacco smoke because he knows firsthand?
Have you seen him? He looks like he's dead.
I mean, because that's what firsthand means. Firsthand means I'm the person that experienced it. So that means that he smoked and he died. If it was somebody that he knew that smoked and died, then it would be secondhand because he did not experience it.
And if it was secondhand, according to the plans, he'd also be dead. Go ahead.
Exactly.
You're welcome, Will. Just a little play on words.
Well, some people are into that stuff. So anyway,
and it's all the same fucking retards, every one of them, including
let me get down to the list.
Bastard.
Let me get to the list. Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't read ahead.
Who's
Data
reading?
shows the most effective strategy to prevent children from starting this deadly habit is to price it out of their range. Who in the world has the most free money? Kids.
Yeah.
They have the most they don't have bills. They don't have anything. Any money they have, it's not something they earned most of the time. It's from mom and dad. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of kids out there. I started working when I was like 12. I had my own lawn business when I was 12. I made a good bit of money on the weekends in the summers when I was a kid. Anyway, this bill would help reduce tobacco and e-cigarette use by ending loopholes that the industry has exploited to target our children. If America can kick its nicotine addiction, you notice
there's 3 things already.
If you've been noticing Dick over the years, he's
not personally, but yeah.
he's gone from he's fully on the nicotine addiction now. He's gone from the smoking addiction to now he's at they've changed
the subliminal power in these three sections. I can see tobacco related disease. We're talking about vaping. Children starting a deadly habit, right? Yeah. Nicotine addiction. We've hit all 3 points just the way we want the public to understand and perceive it. That's what they've been doing for a decade.
Well, they've been mutating. They've been mutating. If American can kick its nicotine addiction, It would go a long way to improving our public health for generations to come. So here we go. Durbin and Wyden.
Who the fuck is Wyden?
I don't know. Wyden.
Some dumbass.
He's widening. You don't want Dick to widen. To introduce the bill in the Senate with their sponsoring senators Patty Murray, Sherrod Brown, Jack Reed, Jeff Merkley, Richard Blumenthal, Dick Blumenthal, Ed Markey, and Mazie Hirano. So all of these names, these are all the same people that Kevin was trying to jump ahead and read earlier. You know, Durbin, Patty Murray, Sherrod Brown, Jeff Merkley, Blumenthal, Markey, and Hirano. Jack Reed is really one of the newer names on that list, but all the rest of these, and Wyden, yes.
I don't know either one. They're all jumping on his dick. That's what they're doing.
Well, they're the dicks. There's two dicks. Blumenthal has, remember a few years ago, Blumenthal said that adults don't like sweet and things that taste good.
Correct. And Markey said we want to put them out of business.
Yes,
I believe. If that's who I think it is. Yes.
Again, they're going to go right in. They love this word too, loopholes, because the general public
has no idea.
Well, no, but the general public, when they hear somebody, they're using loopholes. For example, Trump is using loopholes to get out of paying his taxes, or Amazon or Walmart are using loopholes so that they don't have to pay their corporate taxes. So people are generally afraid of, obviously I've heard vapors, there's a loophole in that regulation so that I can stay in business. But to the general public, this is a buzzword that gets there. Somebody's getting one over on me because I don't know about that loophole.
That's correct.
So,
and
loopholes in our tax code.
I'm jumping ahead. It concerns me that Krishna Mahuthi has procreated. Go ahead.
Well, I was trying to read his statement. Loopholes in our tax code continue to favor big tobacco.
Yeah.
See?
That's
big tobacco. This is what you get. This is how you get public support for your legislation, by tying e-cigarettes, to big tobacco, while the American public, especially our youth, pays the price. So I would be interested to look at this douchebag's history and find out how many actual bits of legislation has he authored that have actually gotten passed. I would like to know. Somebody go find out for me. The Tobacco Tax Equity Act increases taxes on cigarettes and finally imposes taxes on the e-cigarettes, hooking our children on nicotine, which would generate billions of dollars in federal revenue.
Billions.
As a father and of a high schooler and middle schooler, I'm determined to make sure we end the youth nicotine and vaping epidemic. Now, this is one of my. I'm going to be mean here, Kevin.
All right.
This is one of my criticisms for the vaping news assholes.
Okay.
So you have this really halfway well written, well, not halfway, pretty well written article by Michael McGrady, friend of the show. And then look at the ads.
Right.
This ad does not, this does not make us look good.
Nope. I'd never heard of it.
This with a Native American on there. This appears insensitive. Not to me because I'm not a Native American, but there are First Nations people that would find this not so good. I just point out, when you got banners like this on your advocacy posts, it sort of does not throw your stuff into a good light. Just saying, folks. This is probably one of the reasons why I had so much difficulty selling ads for the Vaping Advocate magazine, because I was very particular about who advertised in our stuff and what images I would be allowed
Yep.
or that I would allow into my magazine. Maybe that's why the magazine doesn't exist anymore, because I was too particular. But yes.
Yes.
Maybe I shot myself in the foot. You never know. But anyway. So, yeah, I mean, we have all this shit that we have to fight. And the only way that we can spread the news is by selling ads. And the only ads that we can get are from people that shouldn't be in the business.
Right.
It's
sad.
It sucks.
It's sad.
It sucks.
It's sad.
So I know Nick was in the room earlier, but I don't know that Nick is still in the room. He was in the room earlier.
He's checking his mail.
Well, he might be waiting for a minute or two.
Well,
but it appears
oh,
that in Florida, that the governor will be receiving a tobacco 21 bill on his desk.
Oh, I missed this one.
Yeah. Well, it's a vaping bill, but yeah, here we go. This is from the Suncoast WWSB Channel 7 website. And it says, vaping bill clears house and heads to the governor's desk. I sent you the link. How did you miss it? So Sarasota, Florida, WWSB, the Florida House on Wednesday gave final approval to a bill that would regulate the sale of electronic cigarettes and raise the legal age to use tobacco and vaping products from 18 to 21. House members voted 103 to 13 to approve the bill, SB 1080, which passed the Senate on Monday. It's now ready to go for Governor DeSantis to sign. House sponsor Jackie Toledo, Republican from Tampa, said the bill is aimed at preventing minors from using electronic cigarettes. The bill is necessary to stop youth vaping. So, did you read that? Or did you hear what I read there, Kevin?
Yes. Yes.
So the bill is aimed at preventing minors from using electronic cigarettes. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine because, as far as I know, when you turn 18, you're no longer a minor.
That's correct. Age of majority is what that's called.
That is called the age of majority. You are correct, sir. You are no longer a minor.
Hey, I got one.
Which really, I'm going to be an asshole here and say, okay, so when you're 18, you can borrow money from the bank. You can sign a loan. If they may not give you that because you haven't developed credit yet, but you could theoretically borrow money. You borrow money for college that puts you in debt for a very long time. You can get a credit card and run up insurmountable debt.
You can have the debt.
You can go to the store and buy a firearm.
You can go to prison.
You can go to prison as an adult and face the death penalty for your crimes, which I totally support. I'm a huge supporter of the death penalty. There are there are so many people that I would totally put to death if I had the power. And apparently, according to new science, your brain is not fully developed until you are 25. And that number has changed multiple times since I became now.
Yeah.
Kevin, I am a neuro-certified therapist, which means that I've taken a lot of time and a lot of classes researching the brain, the spinal cord, and how the nervous system works in the human body. When I graduated college years ago, neuroplasticity sort of was set at 18.
Right.
But now they're saying neuroplasticity continues till you're like 25.
So why did they want them to change the voting age to 16 again, Patrick?
That also
That goes like Chris's question.
I mean, I know people that are 40 that shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Right.
I mean, I know people that are 50 that shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Right. Within reason, there are some that are immature, even at 25 or 52.
Yes.
Some of us, 53 rather. But by and large,
Well, 10 years ago when you were 53,
uh-huh.
how immature were you?
I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so I don't know. All I know is the brain is easily manipulated.
Yes.
And those are adults doing that. So
those are weak-minded fools.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but the bill has drawn opposition from some prominent health groups, at least in part because it would prevent local regulations on such things as marketing and the sale of tobacco and vaping products. Hey, there's thunder. Years of continued inaction by the state to regulate tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, demand strong local laws that truly protect our children from a lifetime of addiction, the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network said in a statement this week. So it's a preemption law as well. So it prevents local governments from more restrictive rules than what the state has put in place. Florida kids deserve effective protections, not to be left even more vulnerable to the industry and its predatory practices. And our localities have the right, freedom, and responsibility to protect them when the state won't. The bill would raise
all those 18, 19, and 20-year-olds need protection.
Yes. But these are also the same people that are probably would prevent their kids from getting sex education in school.
Well, that may be.
The bill would raise the state's legal age to smoke and vape to 21, a threshold already established in federal law. It also would create a state regulatory framework for the sale of electronic cigarettes. So if the state said, hey, these are the rules, you have to follow these rules, you have to, get a vape license, you have to report your sales, blah, blah, blah. You have to be a grown-up, mature, and professional industry. What's wrong with that? We're trying to be responsible here. We're trying to be ethical. Wow, that was lightning.
To me, this is pump and circumstance. This is already going to happen.
Yeah,
it's already a federal law, and the states.
I'm not a big fan of the 21 thing. I'm just not. When I was 18 years old, my parents kicked me out of the house and said, "Go fly, little birdie, go away."
So when the state says, whatever state it is, says, yeah, we're going to leave it at 18, even though the federal law is 21, then the federal people are going to go, okay, that's great. We're not going to send you any money. Oh, wait a minute. We'll change it. That's all. This is all.
Well, that's what they did to alcohol when I was a kid.
Exactly. This is exactly.
Supporters said preemption of local regulations is needed, at least in part because retailers could have multiple stores in different areas, which would make it hard to follow varying regulations and do business. Exactly. We need one set of rules for the entire industry to work with instead of having thousands of different islands that we have to deal with.
And T21.
That's one of the reasons why the PACT Act, and we'll talk about the PACT Act in a minute, when it is ultimately put in place, is deadly for the industry because you have thousands of islands.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I'm hiccuping and burping at the same time. I must drink.
Do so. And Yolanda said New Zealand's proposing a law no one after 2004 will ever be allowed to buy tobacco products.
Well, you remember Hawaii was it was Hawaii, 100. Yeah. Hawaii was going to make it 100.
They haven't yet, have they?
No. They joking. I don't know that it came across as a joke to me, but for them, they might have been deadly serious about it. Yeah. So this PACT Act thing that has been proposed has driven quite a few businesses out of business. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of vape companies have had to jump through hoops and have spent a lot of money to try to be compliant and follow the rules. And here we are, USPS at the end of their comment period, and after apparently reviewing those comments, we actually did those right here on the air, or at least I did mine. Now they're saying, wait. We may not be able to do this right this minute. We want to look at some more stuff. So again, another piece by Michael McGrady. Yes. It says USPS postpones ban on vape mail for now. After hundreds, if not more, businesses closed their online portals if they were mixed, if they were online and face-to-face retailers, and said, you know what, we're going to have to close our online business because we can't do this. Or we've had, lots of businesses that were online only, or that were doing online and face-to-face sales, but their online business was the vast majority of their business, just shuttered their doors and went out of business. So it says here, the U.S. Postal Service announced that it is delaying a ban on mail and parcels and mail covering vape products, an exclusive to the Marijuana Business Daily. So is it exclusive if somebody actually reads your article and then reports on your article? It's no longer exclusive anymore, right? So in an exclusive to the Marijuana Business Daily, a spokesperson for the USPS said that a ban on sending vape products in the mail needs more time to review how to implement the changes ordered by Congress. The ban was supposed to take effect on Monday and apply to all vaping companies, including those shipping products without nicotine. Despite our best efforts in order to ensure thorough and thoughtful consideration of the complex issues and voluminous comments by industry, individual, and government stakeholders, the Postal Service is unable to publish a final rule by today's target date, said David P. Coleman, USPS spokesperson, in an email to Marijuana Business Daily. Mr. Coleman said that the agency would finalize its rule as soon as possible. Mailers should be prepared for implementation upon publication anytime. According to the same report, the Postal Service said that the businesses making vape components to be ready for new prohibitions on mailing their products. Private parcel carriers like FedEx and UPS said that they will enforce the Postal Service directive not to ship vaping products, notes the report. The Preventing Online Sales of E-Cigarettes to Children Act of 2020, PACT Act of 2020, revised a previous law, meaning that the 2010 PACT Act, which bans direct sales of cigarettes to consumers through the mail. The PACT Act of 2020 was passed in a Trump-supported COVID-19 relief bill. The USPS also published temporary guidance to the National Federal Register and further notified vape component manufacturers the new prohibitions on the mailing of products were imminent. The PACT Act also prevents cigarettes, smokeless tobacco products, and roll your own from being shipped to the public postal system regulated by USPS. Well, look, there's that fucking ad again. Yeah. So
as soon as possible.
It's not against the rules yet, but it could be tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah. As soon as somebody gets their ass reamed, it'll be in effect.
Well, Raja Kutra-Muthri and Sherrod Brown and Dick Blumenthal and Dick Durbin and all those guys will write a scathing letter again.
Yep, twice with
a scathing letter. We're gonna use mean words. Mean words.
Let's talk about my kids in junior high and high school who weren't legally allowed to buy this shit.
Well, somebody said a while ago that about the drinking age. When I was 18, on my 18th birthday, I was legal to drink.
Okay.
And I was legal to drink for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they passed They changed the legal drinking age to 21.
Right.
And I was not grandfathered in.
Oh, I was. But I had 3.2 beer. For you old folks like Ed. That's what we could get. 3.2. It's better than nothing.
It'd make you piss a lot.
Well.
So yeah. In your state you were grandfathered in my state it was too bad.
Yep. Well, grandfather
too bad.
Only 3.2, right.
Man, what's the point in 3.2%?
Well, 0% is 0. 3.2, you just got to drink a whole lot.
Man, I'd be just pissing away.
You just rent it.
No, I like my 8-9% ABV beer.
It was
every once in a while you find one that's like 12% ABV.
Here's the funny thing though, Patrick. I didn't drink a whole lot of 3.2 beer because I could get everything else anyway. Just today.
I'm surprised that they actually had beer when you were a kid. I mean, the dinosaurs did the dinosaurs teach you how to make beer?
It's like I was before the bootlegging industry or something.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
No, there are actually scrolls from the ancient pharaohs
with my name on it.
No, discussing how they were paying the laborers that built their monuments, because those monuments were not, people have in their head that building the monuments and these big giant things that they built were sort of slave labor, and no. The history shows that these were like monumental civic works projects, and it was a civic duty to participate in the construction of these things. So it wasn't slave labor that built these things. It was regular guys, that wanted to participate in their worship of their god king. But anyway, in the scrolls, it says that, how many barrels of beer, like they're talking about beer as payment for the construction of these
you don't need thirsty
monumental
workers.
Things that they built.
Thirsty workers do not work.
Yeah, in the middle of the summer, they drank at room temperature.
Well, yeah.
They didn't have refrigeration, so warm flat beer was your payment.
And water was bad for you.
Well, yeah.
Partially. They're all getting mouthy in the chat room. Yes, 36 can packs.
Oh man, how many in Australia? I would have to drink like a case of beer just to get a buzz if it's at 5%.
Yeah, I didn't have a hard time finding regular beer though. Obtaining.
Well,
I won't say finding. I say obtaining. It was not hard to get.
I can remember being a 10-year-old kid walking into a convenience store and buying a case of beer for my dad.
Yeah.
And nobody worried about it.
Nobody cared.
Nope.
No.
And this was like 1981.
Yeah.
I knew there was something wrong with Paul. He drinks IPAs. Ugh, damn fucking
what is
hipsters.
IPA?
It's a bitter beer. It's awful.
Ugh.
It's awful.
Ugh. Does it make your Tic Tac smaller?
That's what the hipster kids drink. It's the trendy beer to drink.
Paul's a hipster kid? Okay.
Apparently.
Ugh. I don't like bitter.
I don't like. Ugh. Hey, there's a video here.
I saw the video. Good.
Let's watch. Let me rub this first.
See where you're at here. Yeah, this.
So they're saying that they're saying that the vaping industry is targeting youth, right?
Of course they are.
Now, you and I cannot promote our show or do paid advertisement on Facebook of our show because we talk about vaping products. Right?
Correct.
CASA can't promote like Call Us to Action and CASA because they're a vaping advocacy group. However, in Australia, they're saying, and Australia is already geo-blocked from so much stuff already.
Yeah.
But they're saying that Facebook accused of targeting teens with alcohol, vaping, and gambling ads. So let's see. Let's watch this.
School's out, and so too are phones forbidden during class time. But parents are being warned about what's on those screens.
We know that Facebook creates deep data profiles of all of their users by tracking and surveilling them across the internet.
Posing as an advertiser, Reset Australia had advertisements approved for gambling, alcohol, dating, extreme weight loss, and vaping. Only ads with cigarettes were rejected.
The difference is that an ad on the back of a bus for gambling doesn't follow children around all day. It's not going to be appear to them every time they open social media.
In a statement, Facebook said keeping young people safe is vital and that advertisers must comply with all local laws.
You guys will be some of the first people in Australia to see this.
Even these tech-savvy teens at Rosebank College in Sydney's West were shocked to hear of the findings.
It feels like you're being targeted and it's so specific. And it does feel like you're being spied on.
It wasn't until reading the article where I was like, wow, yeah, I have had ads on how to make the perfect cocktail or how to get your summer body or all these different things or like your sports bet or your poker app.
I also think it's quite shocking the fact that Facebook and other social media platforms are putting prices on our personal information is quite alarming.
A survey of 400 teens by Reset Australia reached the same conclusion, mirroring similar international studies. Until now, Facebook and the other tech giants have had a very light touch in terms of regulation. But in the UK and Ireland, there's moves to restrict this sort of sale of data, and many say Australia should follow suit. Connor Duffy, ABC News.
So in Australia, can you promote, if you're a vaping business, can you do a paid promotion on Facebook?
Can't imagine you could.
Well, I'm just wondering because we're not allowed.
But the news,
I'm not even allowed to promote information.
Right, but the news and the media and the alphabet groups do every day.
Yeah. It's interesting to me.
Survey is anecdotal.
Well.
Liana can't be a smartass or respond, and she's devastated.
Wow. No. But twice now, Steve Forbes has put out very complimentary, very well thought out video pieces about vaping and about the asinine attacks on vaping.
So seemingly vapors don't give a shit about except for a select few.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we can share stuff, but we can't force the other people to share stuff. We can't force people to try to fight for what they feel. This is the thing, Kevin. This is the one thing that pisses me off about the laissez-faire people in vaping.
Oh, good. I riled you up a little. Good.
So before I go here, I'll go here.
Nobody likes you anyway. Just let us have it.
So all you fuckers.
That's right, fuckers.
that post hashtag vaping save my life. Vaping save my life. There's thousands of you asshats out there. I've seen it on Facebook, on the Twitters. You fucking will use a hashtag because it takes 3 seconds to type in a hashtag or to do a tweet. But when it requires more effort than this, you don't do shit. If you're a business owner, you think advocacy is social media. That's what advocacy is. We're in the situation we are in right now.
That's
because of the public image. Yes. Because of the fucking public image that the people in this industry have developed And, you know, I am about as laid back. I'm wearing a t-shirt and fucking shorts, cargo shorts right now. I've got Crocs with socks on right now. This is how fucking laid back and I am right now. But when I go to a state capitol, I put on a suit, a tie, I shave, I look presentable. If somebody were to email me and say, "Hey, we would like to interview you," I wouldn't show up at the interview with a fucking, you know, t-shirt that had, you know, whatever the fucking bad ad was that I was just, you know, plush or whatever I can't even remember now. You know, I would look nice. And as mean as I am on Twitter, I have never used foul language. I've never used bad words. I've never said fuck this, fuck the FDA. I've never done any of that stuff, because the moment you do that, the moment you resort to foul language or and I will attack people, but I'll use proper language and I will make sure that it is properly spelled, that, you know, the point is actually more of a, here's the real data that you are too obtuse to understand, versus, oh, you're fucking idiot. Yep. We have this image because we never looked, the only time that we've ever been seen as professional was getting a seat at the table in, you know, the White House, that one time. Yep. Every other time it's a bunch of bros and a bunch of broettes, with a very small number of professional people. You know, Amanda going to DC and speaking to politicians, the VTA fly-ins, the SAFATA fly-ins, those were presented as professional things. The vast majority of our interface with the general public and with these politicians are nasty videos and nasty tweets that they won't listen to, because, again, the moment you say, you know, fuck FDA or use foul language or you insult people directly, they're not going to listen to you. They're not. No. So, you know, I really feel bad, because we had in the last year 2 great opportunities to enlist Steve Forbes to share the hell out of his tweet, to show him that we support his standing up for us. Mm-hmm. Vaping saved my life, but I'm not really willing to do any more than send a hashtag on a tweet.
I could be wrong. It was probably in a couple hundreds, maybe, shared, retweeted.
That should have, I mean, every vapor that had a Twitter should have been tweeting that. Yeah. I mean,
I've got 13,000 followers, and I bet you there was 200 total.
I mean, if you retweeted and I retweeted it, you're 13,000 and my like 800.
Yeah.
We should have had 13,800 shares.
Plus.
Or likes.
Right. I know Mark did. I know Ed did. I know Paul did.
Everybody that's listening to this show.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm not speaking to you.
Right. Ass hats.
Except for Ed, because, you know, I just like picking on Ed.
Yeah, but he's just old. He has an excuse.
Well, yeah, but you know, the dementia, you know, it's really hard to be on Twitter as demented as he is, you know, at his age.
At his age. He's older than me, just for the record.
One of these days, I'm going to be in California and I'm going to be like, hey, Ed, I have a bottle of Pinot Noir. Let's go. Let's drink this.
I want to be in the same nursing home as him when I end up going. That's what I want.
Speaking of wine, my aunt is 6 years older than me, so we're really close in age, and we treat each other more like siblings than aunt and nephew, because we were kids together. But her boy, my cousins, but I treat him like he's my nephew, just announced that he got engaged to this girl from California. He was in California for Air Force training, and he met a girl, and she is and I don't know what the word is. She works for a wine company, for a vineyard, winery, whatever. And she's one of the people that develops the flavors, that develops the wines. So I said to my aunt when she messaged me, "Hey, did you see that your nephew got engaged?" And I said, "This is the wine girl." And she said, "Yeah." She says, "Well," I said, "before I can give my approval to the joining of these children, I have to receive a case of wine to try out." She's not a vintner. She works for the vintner. She's the one that she has a title. She has, she went to school for this stuff. So I'm very interested in meeting her because I'm going to need the Malbec. I'm going to need the Pinot Noir. I'm going to need the Cab. My wife will be like, "I want a Moscato." I'm like, "That's not real wine."
You'll be like a musician. You need all the notes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. Yes, Yolanda.
That's exactly what I was saying, Yolanda.
Yeah, rarely did I ever cuss. Have I ever cussed on Twitter? You can.
I've never used a curse word,
but
ever.
I have, but very sparingly, and
on
usually as a comment under another Twitterer.
Yeah, I mean, I find that I'm more successful on Twitter by just pointing out the stupidity.
Yes,
but doing it in a nice way.
It's way more fun. It's
hey Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Why would you not drug test these people?
Of all people, if I haven't cussed at Jerry himself, then I don't.
I haven't cussed at Jerry.
I haven't either.
But anyway, back to Steve Forbes.
Yes.
Back to Steve Forbes. So I'm disappointed in the vaping enthusiasts and the vaping advocates because of, the opportunities that we had to engage with somebody who is way outside of our venue. Like, this guy is a billionaire, freedom loving, this is the guy that you should think that we would be like backing his ass, that we would be like, "Hey, he said something really good and we should share this all over the world." So A, he gets traction, and B, he understands that we saw what he did and we are supporting him.
Yeah.
Nope. But anyway, here we go. This is a news piece from Forbes magazine. The reason why I brought up all the Steve Forbes stuff is because Steve Forbes is Forbes magazine. Yes. Vaping is still a less harmful consumption method than smoking. Yep. And this is from Lindsay Bartlett. She's the contributor, and Vices is the area that she covers. So she covers the cannabis industry, psychedelics, culture, and innovation. I already like her.
Hey.
When I saw psychedelics, there you go. Yeah. So vaping remains one of the least harmful cannabis consumption methods. Research proves it.
Stop.
And we're not specifically here to talk about cannabis.
What a great 2-sentence opening. Period. Go ahead.
Yes. Sorry. And the reason I highlighted this is because we, as the nicotine tobacco harm reduction vaping industry, took the vast majority of damage from the E-Valley situation, which was caused by illicit black market THC vaping products. Coming out of the fog of VapeGate in 2019 and into a lung-centered pandemic in 2020, it's safe to say there has been a cloud of misinformation floating about. But what are the real risks of vaping cannabis? Now, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. The whole reason that I'm bringing this up is that the E-Valley situation, damaged us, I think, the vaping industry, far greater,
way more
than it hurt the cannabis vaping industry.
Because Raja had a hard on, Durbin had a hard on.
Because the vast
Cologne.
majority of now, according to this piece, cannabis vaping did take a hit.
Yeah, they did.
But
of course it did.
Nowhere near as damaging as it harmed us, because none of the headlines mentioned THC.
We became
not in the general media.
Correct.
None of the politicians standing in front of crowds giving press conferences said cannabis vaping.
Nope.
So it's good that that Forbes was promoting, using your brain when it came to the vaping stuff.
Yep.
But now it shows that the cannabis vaping industry is picking up, trying to pick themselves up out of the gutter, because they know that it was not their products, but it was products that were part of their, group, their industry, or whatever. So, and the link is in the chat room. You posted. No, you didn't. I'll put it.
Yeah, I did.
No, I see the vaping post one, but I don't see the Forbes one. So I'll just slap it in here real quick.
Oh, you're right. I put the wrong one in there.
You are invited to read this, because again, I don't want to talk about cannabis vaping, but I did want to bring out the fact that, it's not a very big piece. It's like 3 paragraphs, but that they took a hit.
Yeah.
Not as, like I said, not as
their
not as bad as
industry
ours.
has been around a long time, and I didn't even know that until I started vaping.
What, cannabis vaping?
Yeah, and I called a nephew and I'm like, hey, could you take? And he goes, oh, Jesus Christ, Uncle Kevin, we've been doing that for years.
They had heat not burn cannabis products before heat not burn tobacco products.
Yeah, but they're in the business of making sure things are proper and safe. Toxicology reports and all their happy stuff. What little I know, they're on it. They're not fucking around. Every state's going to more money.
The thing about all of this is, when we have people in our own circle, the people that are, in our own little Facebook groups, the people that are supposedly well informed about these products and they're misstating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I brought this up last week or the week before. I saw somebody in a Facebook post saying, oh, well, we have to get the big tobacco out of the vaping industry because they're going to put stuff. We don't know what they're going to put in their vapes or in their cigarettes.
Yeah, that was with me. And
I'm like,
said that once too. I did too.
And I'm like, look, these people have been under a fucking microscope for 50 years.
Probably the biggest microscope anybody ever had.
They are scrutinized to
ever
unbelievable levels.
Certainly, they don't do this to politicians.
Literally, everything that they manufacture gets tested. Everything.
Everything.
As far as safety goes, if vaping is if vaping my homemade e-liquid is 95% safer.
Yep.
And I'm using product. I know exactly what's in this bottle of e-liquid because I made it and I put the ingredients in there. And this is 95% safer.
Yeah.
And I am not telling people to go buy these products.
No.
But I can guarantee you that any impurities that are in my e-liquid, because of being made by my hand using ingredients that I ordered off the internet, if this is 95% safer, and I'm not saying that but their shit made in the science fiction labs that they own would be 98% safer.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have the impurities that I have using the consumer products that I make in my beaker and mixer over there.
Yep.
So we oftentimes will react and say things emotionally because we don't like big tobacco.
No.
But I guarantee you, their shit is scrutinized. They're not putting anything in there that hasn't been tested, that hasn't been listed, and hasn't been reported. There's no secret ingredients.
No, none.
And if FDA were to randomly get your PMTA with your product ingredients and what you've listed as being in there, and Big Tobacco's PMTA with all of their ingredients and what they say is in there, I guarantee you their shit is going to be way more accurate than your shit.
Yep.
So I don't like them. I'm never going to buy their shit ever again.
Right.
But just making wild accusations because you don't like them.
They're not the enemy.
Yeah. Beard hair does help with steeping. Yes, Paul, it does. But there's no beard hair in my shit. There might be a pube hair in there. You never know.
No beard hair. Yeah, well, I'm going to share. I'm not real. This. Where's my?
Are you going to share something?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I got to figure it out. I haven't done it in a while. Tweets.
Come on now. You hit the share button. You pick what you want to share. It's not hard.
Yeah, but you get.
Is it rubbed?
I have to. Yes.
Is it?
Oh.
Is it rubbed?
Yes, bigger than a Tic Tac. So. Earlier this
Well, definitely bigger than certain people's Tic Tacs.
Look who it is. Chris Big Knowledge Garland himself.
He was here in the chat room just a while ago.
I know. You know what's hella cool about vaping? I know what ingredients are in my e-juice. Just what you were saying. Are there any ingredients other than nicotine on a cigarettes? So I sent him this. Is the best I can come up with. This list of stuff, and then we were talking about access to children. We're supposed to have access to this list, and we really don't yet. And I don't know what people know and where my rabbit holes. Thank you, Skip, by the way, about the rabbit hole thing. According to the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control and Federal Retirement Reform Act, or whatever, in their own laws, it says that they're supposed to provide new and flexible enforcement authority, promote less harmful tobacco products, ensure consumers are better informed, and the health and safety dependency and safety, to ensure, like we were discussing earlier, that they are not sold or accessible to underage purchasers. And then what Chris said was, what are the ingredients on a pack of cigarettes, and what they're supposed to do. They're the first one that I highlighted: the identity, disclosure, and the amount of ingredients used in such products. But they haven't done that yet. Still,
well, to be fair, there's probably some sort of list somewhere.
I'm sure there's a list.
That is it's like when I was doing legislative stuff back in the day. Depending on the articles of incorporation for each locality, there would be rules about how stuff had to be posted for public hearing.
Right.
Now, sometimes that meant making an announcement in the newspaper about what was going to be on the agenda for the city council meeting. Sometimes that could be taped to the side of a filing cabinet in a locked file room on the basement level of the city council building.
Right.
So it could be the same thing as this, is that ingredients list is taped on the side of a filing cabinet at FDA.
You may be right. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yes, I did read that. It was so small.
I'm going to.
It is very fun, though.
I love to hate Carl, and I hate to love him, but Carl did well. I'm going to put that in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, because it's very small.
I didn't want to really go into it all, but I'm pretty happy with that one. I was a smartass to the pave girls here somewhere. Where is it? I applaud this gaggle of Karens for recognizing length and girth and accepting that challenge. God, I crack me up, but they're upset because the process could take years for historic step that the process could take years for flavored tobacco products. So I wanted to point that one out because I was so proud of myself.
Now, what step are you talking about?
Their referral is to the menthol, but they want to add in our products as well. Right.
But the historic step that I've seen a lot reported a lot in the last couple days has been that the FDA has announced that they're looking at banning menthol in combustible cigarettes. And I've seen so many white anti-smoking people applauding it. I have yet to find a person, African American or person of color, that is an anti-smoking or a civil rights person applauding this move, because we've talked about it. We had Big Knowledge on, talked about how there's a racial disparity in the users of menthol cigarettes versus regular cigarettes. I hate to be so black and white about it, but more black people smoke menthol cigarettes than white people, and more white people smoke regular cigarettes than. So it doesn't seem. I see a lot of social justice warriors applauding this, but if you ask a lot of African American or black smokers about this, they're going to say, that this is attacking us.
Fuck that.
And
period.
I don't believe in the government ever having the right to limit anybody's choice.
Period.
If black people, if more black people smoke menthol cigarettes and like those, then I don't feel like it's the government's place.
It's not the government's place. You don't feel
to say you can't have that.
Fuck them. And
there's a lot of crude comparisons I could make about this, but I never smoked menthol cigarettes because I didn't like menthol. My dad smoked menthols, and he was a white guy. You think he was a white guy?
She smoked menthol anyway, and my Marlboro Light and her, whatever the hell it was, were very similar, of course. And if I grabbed hers, it would just, that was insanely bad to me. But
I would steal my dad's cigarettes. I wouldn't purposefully smoke menthol cigarettes.
Yeah, I mean,
what was odd was as soon as I became a vapor, I vaped menthol for a year.
Right. It's your choice. It doesn't fucking matter what the government says. They're riding the boot. Period.
When I was a young adult, I was over 21. Camel had these cigarettes that came in little tins. And I think there was 5 of them, 5 different flavored cigarettes. And there was like a citrus tobacco one that I really liked. And then one day it was not there anymore. And even to this day, I smoke fruity tobacco sometimes. Right. I mean, even the Plume Room's Candied Cavendish is a fruit tobacco blend.
So,
and I don't think very many kids would be vaping that.
I'm one of the rarities of and so are you. Really, you do dabble, but I like the tobacco flavor. Period. Now I've
well, I mean, if I want to go,
and all that. So
here, since they're not here to see this, obviously I've spent a lot of time developing the cigar.
But when I stopped smoking, I didn't know this. My wife said, "Let's go get Taco Bell." She quit with me the same day, same time, May of 2013. She said, "Let's go get Taco Bell." Well, we hadn't had Taco Bell in a while. This sounds silly and anecdotal. We went and got Taco Bell, brought it home, said tastes like shit, and she said the same thing. Well, I'd never had Taco Bell as a non-smoker, so my taste buds were back. It'd been a month or two since we stopped. And she was enjoying her flavors. She loves her flavors. That's that. With me, it's the tobacco. But it doesn't matter. So a smoker stops smoking, gets his taste back or her taste back, and then says, "Oh, I want to try this." And most people, even my own survey, 7%, 9%, I've seen as high as 12% of every survey I've ever seen is about what it is. 7 to 12% of us use tobacco flavor exclusively, and the rest of you are all on flavors. So for me, I can have the tobacco and you guys are fucked, and I don't have to care about your flavors. I could give two shits. But my wife,
your wife would cut your throat,
would cut my balls off, and then I'd have to send them over to Paul.
And she already has them anyway.
Well, they're on the wall in the hall. So yeah, if you like your flavors, then fucking vape your flavor or your menthol. If you're going to smoke menthol. Who cares?
Well, the people that think they know better than you.
Well, their morals are to be, pushed onto you, so you'll do what they want you to do because that's what they want. Karen. I'm talking to you, Karen.
We're going to get a fucking hate mail again.
I love Karens. Don't get me wrong. You made the meme of me as a Karen.
I did, and I actually memed Matt Cully this week as well, with the same haircut.
I saw that. Tic Tacs and Pop Rocks for everyone, Leanna. She hurt my feelings.
P and K.
What was that? Sweet
Pop
Vanilla
Rock.
Sweet Dreams. Never heard of it.
I just think of the Eurythmics when I hear Sweet Dreams.
So I'm all for whoever. Doesn't matter what color you are. If you're smoking Benson and Hedges Ultralight Menthol 100s, that wasn't what my aunt would smoke. But who cares? I don't care. I care. I care that if you don't know that there's a less harmful alternative and you don't have the option to try that, I care. But if you choose to keep smoking, that's fine too. I smoked way too long to hate a smoker. Way too. I was a smoker forever. Still am, as far as I'm concerned.
The way I look at it, Kev, is even as successful vaping is at getting people to quit smoking, it is only successful when you desire to quit.
Right.
There are accidental quitters,
right,
but there are a lot of people that continue to smoke and need to continue to smoke until they've decided that it's time to quit. And then that is when we need them. But I can guarantee you, prohibition does not work.
Does not work. It's never going to work.
Telling me that I can't vape what I want to vape, even though 99.9% of what I vape is tobacco.
Right.
Everyone, I have my my absinthe that I have here. It's a green bottle, but it is also green e-liquid. For when I don't want a tobacco.
Well, if prohibition worked, we wouldn't have children using cigarettes or vaping products, right?
Well, we wouldn't have binge drinking kids. We wouldn't have
Dax, teen pregnancy.
We wouldn't need to have condoms because kids would abstain until they're married.
You think?
we wouldn't have we wouldn't need abortions because telling kids not to do something works.
It's a career, evidently.
Yeah. So
WS-23, that's the menthol kick thing, right?
It's not menthol. That's the cooling agent.
Cooling. Janice has used that thanks to Jennifer, and she likes it. And I just go, I think you're crazy, but if it makes you happy, that's what I want you to be. That's all I care. I don't care.
Menthol actually has the the menthol.
Yeah.
So it actually cools, but it has that flavor of menthol. Whereas WS-23 is the cool without the menthol. So you could theoretically make a cold daiquiri vape with a WS-23. Well, remember she lost her bottle and then woke up the next morning and was missing 4 or 5 bottles.
I know.
So what's gross? Anthony Mario says that's gross. What, a cooling agent or making a cool e-liquid that doesn't have that menthol flavor? Because I like WS-23 because I like the cooling. So what's weird though is I would make a spearmint with WS-23 versus using a spearmint with menthol.
I'll make an admission. I like root beer. I really love root beer. I like a good root beer. And I like extra gum, the green fucking gum. I love that flavor. And I've tried the vaping spearmints and it's just not, it doesn't do it for me. That's as close to menthol as I've tried. Yeah.
You're weird though.
But you do you and I'll do me and everybody can fuck off and do their own thing. It's okay.
Well, that's the whole point of being free.
Exactly.
And I'm not meaning free as no cost. I'm saying free as in free. Nothing in life, freedom is not free.
No.
We pay our taxes.
But if
there's a price tag.
If I called you and I said, Jesus, this is how I've made my steak for years. And
if you called me Jesus, I would worry about you.
Well, I do worship you in some ways. So if I called you and I said, well, I take the knife and I sear the meat this way to the left, and you say, no, Kevin, do it to the right. And then I try it to the right and it's better, then I've learned something from you. Papa Rock said drink. Then, hey, I haven't held my sign up in a while. Then maybe you're right.
Really haven't been pushing that because I can't really get drunk and hobble to my bed later on.
Doesn't mean everyone else can't.
It's no fun drinking by yourself.
Poor Yolanda. So it doesn't matter. I'll give my best example of deer. I don't like deer meat. I've never been hunting. I'm not interested. It's okay. I know, right? So
what kind of redneck are you if you're not
every single time I've heard someone explain to me that you haven't had it the way I prepare it, it makes me snicker because that doesn't mean I'm going to like it the way you prepare it. Fuck off. I still don't want it. That's all.
It's just a thing in your head. I've done this many times. I've prepared venison and told people that it was beef, and they love it.
Believe you because
the moment I say, "Oh, by the way, that was Bambi that you just ate," they're like, "Oh!" But before they knew what it was,
yeah, they loved it.
They were like, "Oh, this is awesome! This is great!"
My mother and stepfather did it to me. I'm starving to death. I ate what it was. Goulash is what I call it. Meat and corn and whatever.
Now,
something's wrong with this. What's wrong with this? And they're kind of snickering, and I didn't care. And then a few days later, when I called, that was deer meat. Well, I knew something was up, but it's all to taste.
Not to turn this into a game cooking show. But the thing about people that eat beef or other commercially, you can buy commercially processed venison, is that it's lean, and if it's not prepared properly, it's dry.
Right.
There is a gamey texture and note to the flavor, and there are things that you can do to counteract that gaminess.
Right.
better quality deer
right.
produces better quality meat. So yeah, there's there's ways to do it. And if you're a fat guy and you know how to cook,
Why'd you have to go there?
well, I'm a fat guy and I know how to cook. So, it's like the difference between, it's the expectation. Like when you eat like quail or chicken, they're not the same and they don't taste the same.
Right.
And there's no reason for them to taste the same.
Right.
Or duck and chicken or goose and chicken. They're all different, and you have to prepare them in different ways to bring out the best notes in the flavor and what herbs go better with what meats.
Mm-hmm.
So, buffalo or bison.
Yeah, I'm all
makes
for whatever you
amazing hamburger.
Yeah.
Well, it's not hamburger, it's buffalo burger, but you get an idea.
And my buddy, for the record, my buddy does hunt, and he does prepare a decent venison to me. And it's still, I can still taste the game to his preparation, but I'm more apt to eat that if hey, I got some deer. Okay, I'll be up, But other than that,
well, yeah. So I mean, this is all about flavor. So we're still kind of in the vaping world, because we're talking about things, the way things taste, and the way that everyone's taste buds are different.
Oh my God, they're different.
So yeah, you could you could hate spearmint, or you could love spearmint gum and hate spearmint vapes.
I love spearmint gum. I don't know why. I'm disappointed that I don't like the spearmint vape. I was very disappointed in the root beer. Extremely.
Yeah. But actually,
I love you. It doesn't.
Their Mountain Oat Vapor used to have this amazing root beer vape.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Well, there you go.
And then one day it disappeared off of their website.
We're making everybody hungry. That's a good thing.
And I said to Steve, "What the fuck, dude?" And he's like, "The company I used to buy that flavor from, one of the flavors in the root beer, went out of business and I can't find it anywhere. I can't find something that's comparable to it." And I was like, "Motherfucker." I loved that. And every time I talk to him now, I'll be like, hey, did you find that root beer flavor yet? I was like, and I've tasted probably 20 or 30 other root beer flavors.
Yeah.
And none of them compare.
They're not even.
My friend, Fred Dauksha, has a vape shop and a vaping business now. And he was one of the founders of the Vaping Militia. And he claims that he has the best root beer on the market. And I bought it and he sent it to me and I vaped it. And I'm like, dude, it's still not. It's not.
Yeah.
But other people might vape it and go, this is the best root beer ever. And there's a couple other companies, Steve Sapir has a root beer. And as much as I love Steve Sapir, it's not as good as the Mountain Oat Vapor one.
But what's my favorite word? Subjective,
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good. I've tried a few of Jan's, like, that smells good. Oh, that's it. You can keep it.
See, now I want to go to New Zealand because Tom's grandson is dropping off 10 duck breasts.
I've never had duck.
And
I would try it.
You've never had duck?
No, sir.
Oh man.
Mm-mm.
Now
Ed
I have
our taste buds change over time, and he's had that.
Well,
like
yeah,
4
because
times.
he's older. They lose some of their, versatility as you get older, and things have to have extra seasoning as you get older. For you, on a side note, dementia patients, that's one of the things that they lose is the strength of their taste buds. So they end up having to add more seasoning to the foods for the patients in the dementia unit, because otherwise they won't eat because it doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I have an unfair advantage when it comes to talking about cuisine and food all over the world because I have literally traveled all over the world. And Peking duck in China is 10 times better than Peking duck made anywhere else in the world.
Right.
Period.
Because I know how to cook it.
So yeah.
Yeah. So flavors are flavors. It doesn't matter.
Flavors are important.
It doesn't matter if you like root beer, if you like ass. I don't care. You do you. Stop saying shit that's stupid. I'll do that.
What, you'll stop saying stupid shit?
No, I'll say the stupid shit.
Oh, you'll say the stupid shit so other
Yeah.
people don't have to.
Yeah.
Ah, I got you.
Yeah. You're making
So
it all true.
I can't help it. So
No.
Tom says that we're welcome to come and eat duck at his house.
See, there you go.
So we just have to get plane tickets to New Zealand.
I would absolutely try
visas.
it.
I wonder how hard it is to get a visa right now.
Probably very.
I got my shots. I have my my card that says is that the vaccine passport that everybody's talking about? Because I have a little card that says how much of which brand on what dates I got my injections.
Yep.
Speaking of injections, have you had yours?
No.
Now you're in the prime age group though.
I am.
Have they been made available to you?
They are, yeah, in Dayton. Yeah, they are. They are.
So, yeah, because here, like where I live in South Texas, and Texas is supposedly one of the worst states right now that we have the lowest number of injections given or whatever. We have so many injections that they're having like daily injection drive-bys where you can just drive in and get an injection.
Yeah.
Like daily. And like, they're like, hey, we got 1,000 shots to give away. Come get them. And, and by and large, there's people that just ain't getting it. Don't want it.
Yep.
And then I see other people posting on Facebook, I really wish that I could get my shot, but I'm not. They haven't approved me for my shot. And I'm like, we're giving them away in people's cars. Like they're just driving up. And if you have 4 windows in your car, you can get 4 people in your car shots without a doctor's order or anything. Just drive by and get a shot.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm kind of confused because we're supposedly so bad in Texas, but yeah. No non-resident flights until 2025. Is that what he just said?
What?
That New Zealand is not going to allow people to come and have vacation in New Zealand until 2025?
Ooh.
Is that what you just said?
That's what he said.
What if I want to make a movie in New Zealand?
What if I want to come eat some duck?
What if I buy a video camera and I say we're doing an independent film in New Zealand? Can I get permits for my casting crew to come to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, I understand trying to be safe because there is still, believe it or not, there's still a pandemic going and people are still getting sick and dying. My wife is from the Philippines and they just had a huge spike in infections in the Philippines. I got a travel warning because I'm a frequent traveler from the United States government telling me that the Philippines is a no-go right now.
Mm-hmm.
No-go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So Ed wants to know what tobaccos you like, Kevin Crowley.
I just answered him.
Well, you should,
Jennifer, I had a local guy that was, I found it accidentally at shops were popping up everywhere in 2013. And I was on
long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. I pulled in and I said, I needed tobacco. And he goes, here, take this one. And I sniffed it and I went, oh, that smells really good. So I took it and I bought 4 bottles right there. I'm like, I need 4 of those right now. I didn't even vape it. It's just, I knew smelling it. And I was like, oh, wow. For probably a year, give or take, it was readily available, no problems. I'd buy 2 or 3 bottles and I'd go through the 2 or 3 bottles. And then I walked in one day and he says, yeah, we're not making it anymore. I'm like, but wait a minute. But I like it. Then I used a shop over here. I can't remember the little brown bottles. Tsunami, I think was what they were called.
Tsunami?
I think it was called Tsunami. TSUMAN.
Yeah, that's what's Tsunami. That's
Tsunami.
Never heard of it.
Little brown bottles, made in China. I didn't give a shit. And those were almost okay. They weren't as good. And then I found Decang. And when I found Decang, that was it for a while. And then Jennifer explained to me that I shouldn't be anywhere near as afraid of DIY as I thought I was. And I've still, since she sent me 4 bottles, I've still not tried one of them. That she sent me 4 different samples, and she nailed it on the first one I tried. So I've recreated that, and I've been doing that since.
So, but what is it?
It's tobacco.
But what kind of tobacco?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's I can tell you the mix.
No, you don't. Just the names of the flavors that are in it.
Shade and Glory.
Okay.
So that's, and I don't, and hell if I know what that is, but Shade and Glory.
Well, that's flavor art. That's the flavor art names of the flavors.
But by themselves, and I did Troops. I forget which one offhand. Troop. I apologize. Was good, and one of
only
Dave's,
good.
Oh, it was good. No, it was good. And then one of Dave's was really good too. So I've tried a few.
Now, it's probably impossible to get, but a few years ago, and it's no longer Cyclops product, but Zach from Cyclops was making this flavor called Truth.
Okay.
There was Truth Red and Truth Green. Obviously, green was menthol and red was regular. And that was, in my opinion, the closest to a regular combustible cigarette that I've ever had.
That's what I was looking for.
And I bought dozens and dozens of bottles of that to give away. It was good stuff. And then Cyclops stopped making it. It was something in partnership with another company, but now I believe Giant Vapes has it. I don't know who makes it, but I believe they still have it. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, that recipe was as spot on for a combustible cigarette without obviously the burnt notes. A lot of people,
some do.
A lot of people like that. A lot of people don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
The smoky notes. Yeah. But it was perfect. Like I used to give away a bottle of that and an Ego with a CE4 or an Ego threaded topper. And it was perfect. I always yelled at them for not figuring out a way to make a starter kit with that included. There are companies now like Boulder. If I have the money, I could call Boulder and say, hey, I want to do a starter kit with a Boulder. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Rock, just their little rechargeable, refillable pod thing, and a bottle of e-liquid and have it blister packed, and they'll do it. Yeah. And that's the only way. That's the only way that we could ever get our products into those convenience store outlets is to have those professionally packaged, blister packed things. Yeah. And it is called the Boulder Rock. And to tell you the truth, that is probably for the price point, the Boulder Rock is probably the best option. They still make them.
Yeah.
The best option for a starter thing, because like $20. You know, yeah, it was good. And I liked that. And it was, you know, $12.
Whoa.
$12 and
Never
a
heard
bottle
of
of East. You get a. I have to look here. I'd have to look here.
There's so much and so many.
But you just take a little thing off the end and plug it into your USB, and it charges it real quick in your car. If you got a USB charger in your car, they're not expensive. So, I mean, a lot of times, and I'm sure none of the vape shop owners that are watching the show live or any of you that are listening to the replay do this, because the ones that listen to my show are responsible people. But by and large, when somebody walks into a vape shop, the vape shop staff and the vape shop owners are looking at dollar signs, and they're looking at money sales. They're looking at trying to make some money. And a Boulder, $12 and a bottle of e-liquid, you're in and out in $25, right?
Yeah.
So in their heads, they're losing the opportunity to make that big sale. But the problem is you give them that little sale, you get them with their dipping their toes into the water, they're going to come back.
In fact, Mark, I think this week mentioned that somebody had come in that was a Juul, because nobody likes, well, you guys do, but a Juul user, and wanted to progress. You know, and it's extremely common.
But even the Boulder with 12 milligram e-liquid in it was still okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have to put nicotine salts in it. I mean, it came with like 18 milligram. The kits that I got, Austin Hopper gave me a whole bunch of them at a show, and I don't know what I did with them. I got vape shit all over my office, and I don't know exactly what. But you know, I, for one, like I've been saying this for weeks, and I still haven't found anybody that will take me up on this. I'll give anybody a free sponsorship to Smoke Free Radio if you can order me the Anakin, or not the Anakin, the Joytech E-Roll kit and a bunch of coils. Because I just like, you know, the form factor of being able to, you know, talk with my vape and my like this, and you know, and I loved the Joytech E-Roll, but you know, nobody sells Joytech anymore. You can't find them products anywhere. Joytech made at the same time that the Heracles and the Subtank came out. They had a Joytech version of a Subtank, and it had a full metal cage with just 3 little windows in the thing. And it was an amazing Subtank. I loved it. But again, nobody sells Joytech products. Yes, I mean, I know you can buy the Boulder. You can buy the Boulder a lot of places, but it's a great for having, like, if I were able to spend a whole bunch of money right now, I mean, the day before I had surgery, well, actually 3 days before the surgery center called and said, "You owe us $4,000. How are you going to pay for this?"
That's
you got to pay at least 50% up front, or we won't let you have surgery. The day before the surgery, the anesthesiologist calls and says, "You owe me $800.
Oh my goodness.
Or you're not going to have surgery tomorrow." The surgeon was nice enough not to give me the bill until after the surgery.
Wow.
And I have insurance.
Right.
I have insurance. But I got a statement. From the insurance company, with like, this is not a bill, but this is what we paid. It's like, you know, this is showing you your benefits and how much you owe and how much we paid and so forth and so on. 38 grand.
Whee.
38 grand for that one day. And I was in the hospital. I was in the surgery center. It wasn't even the hospital. It was at an outpatient surgery center. I was in the outpatient surgery center for 2.5, 3 hours max. Max.
How long did it take you after you came out to want your vape?
Oh, I got in the car. As soon as I got in the car, I was in the car.
Yeah.
I left it in the console, and as soon as I got in, because I couldn't bend my knee, it was in an immobilizer. I had to get in the back seat of the car and sit sideways in the car.
Yep.
And I had put it in the cup holder, and it was right there. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now I can drive. I actually drove twice now. I was going to go get a haircut today, but like I said a while ago, it was raining and I didn't want to slip and fall because in the house, I'm sort of puttering around without an assistant, without my cane or a crutch or anything. But going out into the world, yeah, I'm not quite confident enough to not use something. So,
yep.
So, I look at it this way. I have insurance and the insurance paid 38 grand. And I'm going to end up paying close to like 10, right? What about these assholes out there that we've been bitching about that are uninsured? What about these people that work at McDonald's or Walmart or these places that don't offer insurance because the vast majority of people that work in those places don't work full time. They only get 32 hours and they don't get benefits. So, yeah, you start to look at stuff and go, you know what? I've been bitching and moaning about these people, these uninsured people, these people that, but I'm like, how in the fuck, if something bad happens to them, they got to pray that it was while they were on the job, because then it's a workers' comp case. So, yeah, I feel bad now, kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I want to know what my ligament cost. Because in the folder that they gave me after the surgery with the videos and everything, I'm not going to play the videos again. I've played them for the last 2 shows. They gave me a little card that's from the tissue site or the tissue vendor where they bought the ligament from, and it has a barcode on it and a number and everything, so that I could scan that and they could tell me who that came from. On what day was it harvested, yada, yada, yada. I want to know how much that cost. Because I didn't get an itemization to tell me what each thing cost. Yeah, I want to know what that costs. No, it wouldn't be a tiger ligament. It would either have to be from another human or a pig. But it was a human. So it's a good thing. We have lots of credit cards that give us points. We're going to fly all over the country, all over the world with all of our points. And it's a good thing my wife is like so anal retentive about the cards, because if she uses a card, she pays it off. She's never once carried a balance on a credit card.
Good.
So yeah. It's ridiculous. The cost of healthcare. You would think that with the cost of healthcare in this country, that the government, that the health people, that everybody responsible would be promoting harm reduction, would be promoting reduced harm products. You see how I brought that all the way around back to where we started.
But no, they don't.
No, they literally have not. And I don't think. See, here's the thing. I might make implications that these people don't care about people, and in many cases, individual providers, doctors, and surgeons, and these people really don't care about their people because they're millions of dollars in debt from college.
Yep.
So right now, by and large, many of them are just looking at how many of these surgeries can I do in a day so that I can pay off my student debt, or so that I can pay off my malpractice insurance. Exactly. So that I mean, people don't quite understand. Yes, they're raking in the dough. These doctors are raking in the dough, but their expenses are crazy.
Yep.
I mean, it's ridiculously crazy. Excuse me. What else do we have to talk about over here?
I want to talk about Maine.
Maine?
I like Maine.
Maine, that's up in Stephen King country.
Yep.
One of my favorite
relatives all around him.
One of my favorite book writers.
And
book writers.
For those of you who don't know, I'm from Massachusetts, and I am a masshole originally. And
I can tell.
I myself.
There's a lot of mass.
I myself have done what I see my friends who are now on Facebook from Massachusetts still do. New Hampshire run. I see that about once every week or two. And they're doing it for two reasons: cigarettes and booze. Because Massachusetts, you're going to get fucked. So they just run just of them. You know,
those New Englanders.
Yeah. Just a little further north. And they get, $20, $30, $40 off their cigarettes. They get whatever they get off their booze. I don't remember anymore. And there you go. So Maine,
well, they can go to the reservation and gamble a little bit and buy some cigarettes and booze.
Mm-hmm. I want you to get this Jonathan Scher. Get him on speed dial, would you? He actually looks like he knows how to do a little investigation.
Yeah. So Maine's flavored tobacco ban goes too far. Now, any ban on anything, as far as I'm concerned, goes too far. Mm-hmm. The Maine legislature will soon debate LD 1550, a bill that would ban the legal sale of all flavored tobacco products in the state, and in the process, dismantle the state's licensed, regulated, enforced, and taxed framework that exists to ensure these age-restricted products are sold only to adults. A similar policy in Massachusetts has failed with dreadful consequences, and Maine would be well advised not to follow suit. By now, most know that flavored vape products have considerable youth appeal, but LD 1550 goes well beyond addressing flavored vape and would ban all flavored tobacco products, including traditional products like mint, wintergreen, smokeless tobacco, and menthol cigarettes. Unlike vape, these products come in just a couple flavors and do not demonstrate nearly the same youthful appeal. In fact, the latest National Youth Tobacco Survey reports 3.1% high schoolers use smokeless tobacco and 4.6% report smoking a cigarette. That's a far cry from the nearly 1 in 5 youths who report vaping. So they're saying that fewer kids in Maine use chewing tobacco, smokeless tobacco, oral tobacco products than those that smoke. And that's 4.6% who smoke. But they're saying that 20% of the kids in Maine vape. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know. Let me see. Let's do this. I'll do this all on screen. So let's say Maine youth population. I can't spell. Youth population in Maine. So they're saying, according to this is from the 2010 census, that there are 1.3 million youths in
youths.
This is an estimate, obviously, since this is 10 years ago, right? So they're saying that 18.5% of the population of that state are minors. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that if 18.5% of the population are minors and 5% of those are vaping. You following me so far?
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that somewhere around 4% of the minor, you're getting that. So 20% of this number, somebody get a calculator out. 20% of 1.3 million is what?
Well, what he said was it's a far cry from the 1 in 5 who report vaping.
Yes. So he's still saying that nearly 5% of the kids in the state, 5%,
right,
4.6,
smoke.
Nearly 5% of the kids, the minors in that state, smoke. But 1 in 5 report vaping. So that's still 20%.
No, you're right. I read it backwards. You're right.
So he's saying that 20% of the kids in the state, 3% chew tobacco or other oral tobacco products, 4.6% report smoking, and 1 in 5, 20%.
What's the number?
So
18?
Mike Peterson says it's 260,000.
Okay.
260,000 kids
Thank you, Mike.
in Maine admit to vaping at least once.
But doesn't say whether it's daily, weekly.
No, at least once.
Yeah.
So, I don't particularly think that this is a very good for us at all.
I read it wrong.
Okay. Smokeless and cigarettes are adult preferred products and have enormous market demand. Menthol cigarettes alone are an $80 million market in Maine.
Wow.
Banning them from legal sale would do nothing to squelch that demand. Rather, it would simply push them elsewhere, like Massachusetts. So the most likely destination is New Hampshire, the #1 export state for cigarettes in the country due to its relatively low excise tax and absence of a sales tax. Online and black market street sales would also surge to fill the void and meet the demand created by prohibition. Look no further than Massachusetts for evidence of this disastrous policy. On June 1st, 2020, the Commonwealth banned the sale of all tobacco or flavored tobacco by licensed retailers. And in the following 10 months, the state has lost over $110 million in tax revenue and watched as 76% of banned cigarette sales come back in the state over Rhode Island and New Hampshire borders, where sales were up 16 to 22%. So, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but so he's basically saying you ban these products in our state and it's just going to drive, because, obviously those New England states are very small, and many of them you can drive across in an hour and a half or so.
Yes.
So it's very easy for somebody that is a Maine resident to skip down, go south, cross the border, and buy in 2 states in less than an hour and a half.
Yep.
And
it's just down the road a piece is what
obviously here, if I drive an hour and a half, I'm still in Texas.
You haven't lived
depending on which angle which direction I go.
You're still in your
for
own
me
town.
to get to Louisiana, it's 5 hours. For me to get to Oklahoma, 9 hours. For me to get to Arizona or New Mexico, 14 to 18 hours. So it's not the same here in Texas.
I can go from Ohio
but yeah,
to
you
Maine
could
in 18.
Obviously I don't like his comparison. So he's saying that 1/5 of the kids in Maine are vaping.
Well, I saw the 4.6 and I was thinking 2 different things, and then I misread the 1 in 5.
Yeah. Obviously, and I'll say this out loud. Obviously I went to school in the deep South, and there is a certain demographic that is higher in, say, Mississippi than it is in New York State or Maine. We had a very high redneck country boy demo, and chewing tobacco was quite common in that state, and in Louisiana and in Tennessee and those places. where I would say there were more kids chewing than there were kids smoking.
Yeah.
More boys.
There were here in the outlying areas, but in the city it wasn't.
I mean, obviously, we used to, not we, but because if I did chewing tobacco, it was beech nut or it was in a pouch. It wasn't in a can. But I did the chaw.
Mm-hmm.
They always put their can of Skull in their back pocket, and over time, it would develop a ring.
Yep.
It would wear a ring on your britches, on your
Yep.
back pocket, and you would see, oh, well, those kids, that guy chews tobacco.
Yep.
It was quite common. But they're saying that fewer kids chew tobacco than, Skull or than smoke. Because you can stealth chew. As long as you can, spit where, people aren't paying attention. And obviously, I think, with the development of, I don't want to, I'm not even going to broach that topic because it's going to start a war. But there are smokeless tobacco products that you don't even have to spit.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
They're referring to me being old again because I said chaw.
You said britches.
Well, yeah, I'm a Texas boy. We say britches. I didn't say bitches. Oh, no. Now I'm going to get reported. I said bitches.
See. Oh, is that what gets it?
It's hard to tell these days. It's hard to tell.
Karen, it could be bitches.
Well, you did Karen and I said bitches. So now they're going to say we're misogynists. Now they're going to say we're misogynists. So I'm not going to read this, but I am going to share the link for this because obviously we love to share Christopher Snowden in here. We sort of already talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about the menthol ban, but there's a really good blog post up by Christopher Snowden, the Velvet Glove Iron Fist blog.
Talking about.
Yeah, we should get him on. We should try to get him on.
Bentley or
now, how comes I put the link in and it wouldn't go on Facebook, but it went on YouTube? Why is that? Oh no, it did. It did.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just disappointed. The companies, because I talked to Jay Love last week.
Okay.
And one of the things we talked about was that I was still getting email advertisements from some vape companies that weren't even acting like there was anything different. That they were still, no mention of the PACT Act, no mention of, not being able to ship to certain places and, just like business as usual. And yeah, there are people that are in the industry that are trying to fly under the radar. And then there were these other groups that figured that they were screwed and they went out of business. And then other companies that spent thousands and thousands of dollars setting up PACT Act distribution. And then USPS comes out and says, well, we missed the deadline. We're not going to enforce the PACT Act until we, look at the rules, and it could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. It could be 6 months from now. Just be on the lookout.
I got a couple.
And there were companies that could have stayed in business a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That can't do it now.
Today I got a couple final day sale emails.
I get a bunch of no. Don't. They don't. It's sad to me that people that are following the rules are being victimized. And this has been from the beginning of the whole regulatory announcement in 2014. Like, here in 2014, they said, hey, we're going to do this. So be on the lookout. We're going to do this. You know, we've deemed you. And here's our, you know, proposed deeming language. That's 2014, April of 2014 is when the original. So people started scrambling. People started doing it. You know, 8/8/16 comes around. Prohibition Day, no new shit.
National Tobacco Day. Yep.
People have to, you know, a good portion of the industry were like, yeah, we're going to keep putting shit out. Don't matter. You know, nobody's going to do it. Nobody got in any trouble to this day.
Right.
I don't think anybody has gotten in trouble. They may have gotten a warning letter, you know, they might have been blah, 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 but nobody has gotten in trouble.
Right.
So it's almost like, hey, we're going to, you know, they're continuously coming out with like, hey, we're going to do some stuff, but we're not going to tell you when. So try to make long-term business plans for your company, for your families. Try to be able to put food on your table. We're not going to tell you when we're going to do stuff. We're just we're telling you we're going to do it someday. And that's really kept innovation at bay. That's kept, you know, new stuff from coming out. That's really ruined a lot of people's livelihoods just because somebody said to them, hey, you have to do something, even though you really don't know what it is that you need to do, but do something. And I think it's hurt more people than it's helped for sure. What the hell, Kev? I think Kevin had to go Voop. Oh, you went and got a new drink, but I can't go get a new drink because are you going to be able to entertain Mark Sliss and Tom and Paul and everybody while I'm gone?
I'll watch you hobble off, I guess.
No, I'm going to turn my camera off. I don't want you guys to have visual evidence of me like being old and decrepit. See, look, I can do this and still talk while I'm walking away.
Oh, look at you.
You can't see me.
Your mic goes that far?
I'm still in the office.
Headset? Oh, okay.
No, it'll disappear eventually.
I got you. Mark, you're one of them. Skip is one. Troop is one. I can't remember all of you guys who have shops in the U.S. offhand, but I can't see anybody else offhand. Have been busting your asses to fight locally and state. I know that. Hoppy. He called you Hoppy, Patrick. That's all I need to know. And Will said, we know you're old. I think he is younger than me. I forget, though. So when you guys go into Velvet Glove, Iron Fist, that was discussing the menthol ban. So right now they're going to focus on menthol for some reason. And they're putting the vaping products in with it because it's flavored. And I don't like it. And I hope you guys don't like it, because banning and restricting things is not the way to do this at all. Hop rocks. I heard that earlier, or saw that earlier, rather. Listen to him stumbling around like a drunk. If we think he falls, you have to drink.
Kablunk.
What'd you say?
Kathump.
Kathump. And yes, Mike, if they pass the menthol, they're going after everything. So the general stipulations of, well, if we can get away with this, then we're going to get away with that. And they've been doing it for a long time.
What happens? Here's one. Here's a conundrum.
Yeah,
so what happens if they go ahead and pass a menthol flavor ban? Then we have, I don't know, maybe 1,000 companies going through the PMTA process. Flavored products, right? You get your PMTA approved, which I don't think anybody's going to get a PMTA approved, but for the purposes of this illustration, I'm going to fill my tank up while I'm asking this. So you go through all the process of getting a PMTA approved, and then we're going to pass a flavored ban on your products nationwide. Doesn't matter if they have FDA approval or not.
Yep.
Because some of the states actually did include a back door for FDA approved flavored products.
Yep.
But if they go through this process of banning flavors that are already approved, tobacco, cigarettes have been on the market forever. They've been given essentially a blanket approval. So it doesn't, you've gone through all the problem. You've spent all of your assets, all of your money, all of your time, your effort, and your hours on getting a PMTA partially approved. And then, you know what? We're banning all flavors.
Yep.
So yeah, you just wasted years of your life,
thousands minimum,
thousands and thousands of dollars
minimum,
and then we're going to ban your products anyway,
and hope for the future.
And then 40 years from now, when the kids that are coming up now that are supposedly so smart, right, maybe they are
brain damaged, most of them, remember.
They the Tide Pods have washed out of their system, and their brains are working, and they finally get into power and they go, hey, we have all this science that shows that vaping was so much safer. Why did we ban that?
What happened?
How many smokers have, and then eventually they get approved, but I'll be, you'll be like 100 and I'll be like 80 plus.
And so will all the people responsible will be dead, long gone, dead. They won't care because they don't give a fuck about you or me.
No, yeah, it'll be 40 years. It'll be 40 years from now. Speaking of, since Jennifer's in the chat room, hey Kevin, did you see like a week or so ago, or it's maybe a bit longer than that, Jennifer posted a picture of her and her granddaughter on her Facebook? And
I can't condone this behavior.
And Jennifer's granddaughter looks like a much younger version of Jennifer.
Oh, she can get to Texas quicker than you can get off that radio, and she can't run. So,
by the time she gets here, if she drives, it'll take her a long time to get here. She's in one of the Carolinas, I think.
You hope. You hope she's not vacationing in Texas.
I would know. I have alerts up.
You got your cameras on, right?
I got alerts up. If DeSangles crosses the border into Texas, I get an alert.
There's alerts. Okay, all right.
There's an alert.
She ain't commented yet. I'll wait. But all I know is,
I actually commented on her post on Facebook. It's been 2 weeks ago at least.
I didn't see it. Oh. My favorite 4-letter word is now papa, by the way, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Papa.
That was my post a couple weeks ago, I think.
But your mini me does look exactly like a mini you.
Oh my God, that boy is so funny. Last night, Janice has these little meal packet things, bologna and ham and shit, and they got a Snicker or a cookie. I don't know what they're called.
Snackable.
Okay, so I opened the fridge because he wants to look in the refrigerator, and you push the button and he can open that door, and he's like, just pointing. He's just on the border of talking. He doesn't quite know how to verbalize everything yet.
Well, once he does, he'll be saying, "Gimme."
Well, that's what he was doing with his finger, and he's pointing at the cookie on the package, and I'm like, "Has he had Oreo cookies here?" And she's like, "I don't know." So I messaged the mother, and I said, "Has he had an Oreo?" Yeah. So, oh look, you're number one. I'm flying in soon. So the child and I came back out here, and I had more fun with this than I ever thought I could. I got a paper plate, just the cookie, took the cookie, broke a little piece, he ate it, and then he's trying to pick at the white part. He just wants the cream in the middle. And I'll be damned if he didn't eat every single bit of that. He's just grinning and shaking his head, and you want some more? Yes. So yeah, that was his choice for the night. Look at her just flipping the bird.
She's mad at you, Kev.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Because I was laughing at your dumb ass. He provoked me, Jen. I agree.
No, dude, but snackables. I'm 50, almost. I mean, 49 years old. I mean, I just turned 49, but might as well round up and say 50 years old. And I still love those things.
He is way
cheese
more
and crackers and a snack, and they're awesome.
Well, we understand each other though, so we're just going to get in trouble a lot this summer and do what we can to keep out of Grandma's hair. That's all. She couldn't find the middle finger, M Joy, and I'm assuming that's aimed at you.
No, it's you, man. She's mad at you.
He's proudly taking this in, Jennifer.
Everybody loves me. Nobody. It's you that they hate.
Oh fuck.
Oh, did I tell you about the peach bourbon cigar, Kevin? Did I tell you about the peach bourbon cigar?
You said something about that with Nick on earlier, and he wouldn't get it.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that Jennifer's going to ever see it.
I don't even have either one of their addresses anymore.
No, he lost them in a tragic boating accident.
Yeah.
Oh, you got another one. That one's directed at you. His eyes are bad, Jen. Do it again.
What are you talking about?
It says Patrick. Where'd it go?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You deleted it, didn't you? You shit! I saw it. I freaking saw it. Oh my god! Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. You're evil.
I know, right? I'm awful human being.
Yeah, Jennifer, you might want to message him and ask him about his new vape flavor he's fucking with. Some bourbon peach pit. I don't know.
It's gonna be good. I got to test it in like 10 days, but it'll be good.
And someone else will, like, in the next year. You said it's got a steep.
I got to make sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like I think the first batch of the cigar is from November.
Yeah.
This is from. I think it's just about right now.
Coming along nicely. All right. See,
I think this is perfect.
See, I've got the.
Well, I've tested it. Troop. I know that this is good because it's right here.
Now. Troop is still in the room. My JDW. I dated this when I made the first one I made, or the first batch. Sorry, the first batch. November.
Troop, I got to see if I still have a Stingray dripping atomizer over here somewhere that I can do that with.
November of last year, I made this, and this is my third bottle. So that's how much I vape, guys. And it's 18. So that's the way I see it.
18 milligram, huh?
18.
There are people that would drop dead right from hearing you say that you vape 18 milligram.
18. I know. That's okay. It is available in some vape shops like Mark's and James's, and I'm pretty damn sure Nick's. I don't know if I've ever asked.
Oh yeah, Nick has got 18.
but I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to create a whole new flavor profile for the flip. But just for that, I will create some variation of a Cuban cigar called the flip. I should call it the Castro because the last Castro just stepped down. There is no more Castro at the top of the Cuban government anymore.
Boy,
Raul retired.
That wasn't anywhere in my news feed. That's amazing.
Excuse me. Because I do have a flavor from a cigar from a flavor house called Cigar Cuba.
Okay.
I have a Cigar Dominican too. Gotcha. The Dominican is way more strong.
Oh, Victor stocks 18 as well.
Well, yeah, but who's in charge of what? There's nobody in charge anymore. We've talked about all of our news stuff, so now we're just fucking around. I did today. Today I was in a heist movie mood. So I watched all of the Oceans movies, the Oceans 11, Oceans 12, Oceans 13. I even watched Oceans 8.
8?
Now, Oceans 8 is the more recent film, and it's an all-girl crew. There's 8 girls. And it was not awful.
No.
It was not awful. No, I don't have a scepter, Jennifer de St. Les Winstead. I don't have one. My friend Demetrius doesn't send me stuff. Like, I have to buy stuff. I say to Phil, hey, Phil, Kevin really needs a new device. Could you send Kevin a device? Kevin gets a device.
Hey, Phil, could you send Patrick a new device?
No, he's not here, so it doesn't count. Like I asked him to send you something live on the air, and he did.
Along with the number one Nick Salt line, like something or other.
And if they go and they do a live stream and they're giving out something, like if you answer this question, the first to answer this question will win whatever it is. Like on Phil and Demi show, I can't win. Even if I know the answer, they're like, it's not fair. You know us too well.
Jennifer went to Phil's house and robbed him.
I know, I heard. But yeah.
Well, maybe if you send Phil some of your
stuff. Anyway, I was talking about Ocean's 8. Anyway,
Ocean's 8.
I understand, like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but they did the all-female Ghostbusters remake, and it was awful. I don't think anybody that's seen that film, and it's not awful because it's all females. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm not being anti-women. I love women and all of their amazing variations. But it was just awful. And like, they remade Charlie's Angels, which was originally an all-girl show.
Yeah.
Here recently, and they amped up the social justice stuff, and it was awful. It was awful. I mean, the Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels was awesome.
I think I saw
it was
that.
Awesome, but then they did this new version where they're like, it was just awful. And then, I like Kate Blanchett. So Kate Blanchett was in this new version with Sandra Bullock, and a couple other people. I can't remember the girl's name now. Rhiannon was in it. It was good, but it just didn't have the original. It just didn't feel as good as the other ones, the Ocean's 11 with Bernie Mac and what's the guy with the weird haircut that was on ER? What's his name? He was an awful Batman.
Oh yeah, what's his name? I
can see his face in my head, but those were good movies. Obviously I love Bernie Mac, so that was great. But yeah, it was a huge turd. I'm going to steal Will Webb's comment there. Why can't they make new movies?
No.
Why do they have to make old stuff and ruin it? I don't know.
Make a quick buck.
So yeah,
that's why
it was
I don't watch
sad.
as many movies as I used to. I did watch your The Pharmacist. I did watch that on Netflix.
That's not a movie, though. That's a documentary, and it's a really good documentary.
Well, I was appreciative of that.
The first 2 episodes are really good, and then it sort of go, but it's still good.
It wanes, yeah. But it was parallel. It's parallel with vaping. It's parallel with a lot of things that you don't think that it would be. Holy shit!
And if you want to watch another really cool one that'll creep you out about the internet, it's the Don't Mess with Cats.
No, I didn't see that.
You need to watch that one too. Deanna Marshall, not Deanna Marshall. Deanna. Anyway, a vaping advocate chick is in that film.
Oh, no kidding.
But it's not about vaping.
Right.
It's just, I was like, hey, I know that girl.
Yeah. So you're not, Jennifer, maybe you could go to the post office for Patrick. He's having a hard time finding packages to get.
Send me mailers and then I'll mail stuff to you.
You can get them for free on USPS.com. So.
Yeah, but my mail guy's a lazy motherfucker. So this is what they do. I don't have a mailbox in front of my house. All of our mailboxes are on a street corner, a far away. Not even far away. It's like two houses down from me on the street corner. Why are you beeping at me, Alexa?
Willie?
And they will not deliver anything to the house. So even if I ordered stuff, they would put a card in the mail saying, come to the post office and pick up your package.
Well, yeah, but you're sending something out is the point.
Yeah, but I don't want to package it there. I want to package it here. Well, because if they're paying attention to what I'm putting in there and they say, hey, that looks like vaping stuff.
Yeah.
I want it to be completely encompassed when I go there so that
they'll send you priority boxes for free all day long. I'm just trying to help Jennifer.
No. Because due to the fact that they won't fit in the mailbox.
Oh.
They'll turn around and make me go back and get it.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's signature on delivery or anything that won't fit in the mailbox, they just put a card in the mail and say, go get it at the post office.
All right. Are you in an HOA as well? Just out of curiosity.
We have an HOA, yes, but my HOA is pretty cheap. It's only like $50 a year.
I'm not worried about cheap. I'm worried about Karens.
Oh, no. I'm not in one of those neighborhoods that if I don't mow or if I don't, because I don't mow, I pay somebody to mow.
Yeah.
Like they don't come out with a measuring thing and measure my grass or anything like that. The most like controlling thing that they have is that I'm not allowed to. My fence has to be like everybody else's fence.
Paul has a question.
When did I move into an over 50s community? Well, I'm a 49.
I could do that because Janice is older than me. Technically, she's already hit the 55. So,
what?
Yeah,
your wife is 55, but you're 65. What are you talking about? You're a liar.
Now nobody really knows how old I am. So the pizza bomber was good too, Will. Yep. Take a walk. It's good for you, Patrick. Walk to the mailbox. Walk to the post office.
I walk to the mailbox, but I don't know when I'm not going to take a lawn chair and sit out there until they deliver the mail.
That's how Jennifer feels.
Yeah, Paul's going to move into a retirement community.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Man, we've gone downhill. We've devolved.
When do we not? So there you go.
I have Disney Plus. because I like to watch like Disney stuff.
Well, I think
And
Logan does. I don't know.
you get like the entire library of Disney movies. You get the Marvel, the Star Wars, but they have National Geographic on there. And I watched the other day, I binge watched a whole bunch of shows about sharks. And like they're showing like sharks like jumping out of the water and like biting and eating birds and eating seals. And my wife is like, oh, and I'm like, yes, get him.
See,
I love shark documentaries.
Logan goes on a shark binge. It's called Baby Shark, and he'll.
No.
Yeah. We got a little bubble gun thing now for him.
You gotta to break that baby shark nonsense. Make him sit in front of the TV and watch National Geographic for a little while, and make him watch that shark chomping down on the baby seals and all the.
He's too young to care.
I mean, you're watching, and these guys go out in the middle of like the barrier reef somewhere. You know, where it's not Australia, but some place where there's like this huge thing, and they have these once a year. They have these huge fish migrations to this reef or whatever, and the sharks follow them, and they set up cameras like on the surface looking down,
right?
And there are literally like thousands of sharks just swooping around it just swimming like this and just chomping down.
Just wait.
And it's amazing to watch them. Yes. Or there's quite a few new shark movies coming out. Like not documentaries, but like I just saw the previews for one. It's called Shallow Water or The Shallows or something. And there's another one. These people are taking like one of those nature flights on the pontoon boat, and then they land and the shark eats the boat or eats the plane. And then they're stuck in like a lifeboat, and the shark follows them for like 1,000 miles trying to eat them.
Oh my God. So there you go.
Yeah. Everybody's like, that Patrick, he's disturbed.
You are disturbed. No shit. We already took a vote.
Well,
never had shark either.
You've never had shark steak is good.
I've heard it's good. I would try it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Though the most expensive for us, at least here, and I live in a pretty good seafood area because we're right on the Gulf of Mexico. I can get tons of different kinds of fish, which is really sad because my wife likes one particular fish, and it's by our consideration, it's sort of a low quality fish, but it's very, very common in Filipino food. And then when I go to the seafood market and I buy like sea bass, which is like $28 a pound, but it's great. It's amazing. And she just looks at me like, why did you spend so much money on that fish? I'm like, because it's good fish. Or I buy a big tuna steak or whatever. And she's like, I just want pompano. I'm like, yeah, that's like $4 a pound. And it's awful fish. And she's like, it's great fish. And I'm like,
Jan likes tilapia and I don't.
Oh, tilapia is awful fish, man. That's like the worst fish of the sea, man. It's
no. I'll eat it. I'm not against it. I just
get some grouper or amberjack, or even we get good magenta or red snapper here, which is really good. Or we get good tuna steaks here.
So we like different things.
Yeah. It's like we went to the meat market the other day and I bought a roast Wagyu.
I saw your picture. It looked good.
No, I haven't cooked that one yet.
No.
This is a roast. I said I'm going to put it on the rotisserie, and she's like, "Oh, I was going to slice that up for," and I'm like, "You can buy cheap roast to slice up for your dish.
Yeah.
Wagyu, ruin it by doing that. No. Mahi's good. Yeah.
Never
See, even Leanna says, ew, tilapia.
Yeah, I'm not as fond of that as she is.
Yeah, but I got strawberry grouper the other night, and I put that on the flat iron, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. There's cuttlefish in my freezer. I did cuttlefish on the grill maybe a month ago, and everybody's like, "What is that?" Cuttlefish. Tisk. Actually, you're wrong, Leanna. You have not had fish until you have been to the Tokyo seafood market.
Nah.
There's 4 big ones in Tokyo. Any one of them is amazing. And there is literally no fish on the planet that you can't get it in one of the Tokyo seafood markets.
Wow.
Fish markets.
Wow.
Some of the biggest prawn that I've ever seen. They were like this big at the Tokyo seafood market. Pshaw. I've not been to the Australian one. I've been to the Tokyo one, and I can tell you they are off the fucking hook. Even Paul, an Aussie, will testify. The one in not to get too far into the seafood market, but the one in Seattle is pretty entertaining. And I would say probably the biggest well, I take that back. New York and New Orleans both have huge seafood markets, but I would say the one in Seattle is even bigger. You forget I've eaten my way across the planet at least 4 times now.
And you can't get a package to Jennifer.
I can't. I can get myself on a plane.
Right.
Way easier than going to the mail. The mail place is a pain in the ass.
I'm trying for you, Jen. And Nick, if you're still awake, I know you've got.
I gotta do it. I just, maybe since I'm still off of work for at least 2 more weeks, probably 4 more weeks, but maybe 2 more weeks.
Nick's got rules in the home. He's probably asleep, but Jennifer's still.
No, and sometimes Nick has been here late, but I think he's probably already gone. So, is there anything else that we need to talk about, Kevin?
No.
We've talked about all the important stuff, and we've sort of diverged into the unimportant stuff.
Yeah, I was proud of my shot at the paved women today, and a few other tweets here and there, but not.
See, I don't think they're relevant. I don't pay attention to them anymore.
I don't. You know what happens? Somebody else will say something underneath, and I'll I'm sort of on a social media. Other than doing this show, I'm sort of on a social media, like, stay the fuck away. It's poison. That's kind
sort of thing.
Shit to do, though. I've had a lot of shit to do.
Tomorrow I'm putting together a stationary bike so that I can start working on my resistance push. Other than I've been walking a lot. But yeah, I need to get on the bike. I bought myself an e-stim unit here at the house. I had a TENS unit, but a neuromuscular electrostimulator is different than an e-stim unit. So I've been stimming it every day for about an hour, doing various muscle groups, and then walking within reason in the house. So.
Yep. No, I know there are things that I have missed over the past couple of weeks. I'm not on a hiatus by any means, just things I've been doing that take more importance than Twitter. Not out of it, just
well, I peep on social media.
Yeah.
And I see a post, VTA posted something this week.
Oh, Yeah, I saw that.
And instead of, whatever, immediately people that don't know shit about anything posting on there, well, you stole millions of dollars from the vaping industry, blah, 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 blah. Y'all need to get over yourselves. Now, I'm not particularly fond of the way they sort of ghosted, but there weren't no millions of dollars. And I would say 75 to 80% of the state groups that were state affiliates of VTA never paid a fucking membership fee that we and Naked and Vapes Giving and Vape Tithing covered your fucking state dues. So don't imagine that they sniped money from you. Don't imagine that there was a whole bunch of money left over after lobbying expenses, media campaigns, trips to and from DC, doing the fucking job that they were paid to do, that there was millions of dollars left over. Very few, if any, states actually paid their affiliate memberships. Let me be fairly, the 50 state initiative was paid for by we and Naked and fundraising efforts from Vape Tithing and Vapes Giving and things like that. So all you fuckers, I mean, like I said, they did ghost, and I'm not a big fan of how that went down. But I see you guys popping in and opening your fucking mouth without paying attention and not putting, a brain cell before you type something. They didn't fucking take any money from you. You didn't pay your fucking dues. Somebody else did. And when somebody else said, when the people that paid your dues for the last 2 years decided they couldn't do it again, there was no money in VTA's coffers because you didn't pay your fucking dues. Now, the individual members, the people that paid their individual memberships, the companies that paid for themselves as to be direct members of VTA, they might have something to complain about, depending on if they paid their fucking dues. But I don't, I see people opening their mouth that don't know shit, that have not been in this, that have just been sort of sitting on the sidelines, been sort of reaping the benefits of other people's work. Opening your fucking mouth. How dare you? Not even bothering to do the fucking research to realize that your state membership was paid for by somebody else. So not to, I'm not going to, but this is the reason why I don't go on Facebook right now. This is the reason why. Because I see dumbass people that don't know shit opening their fucking mouth because you can be brave and faceless on Facebook.
Yep.
But come in and look somebody in the eye. Go there in real person. You won't open your fucking mouth because you don't know shit. I'm not defending their ghosting and disappearing. I'm not even defending their reappearing and posting something on Facebook. But I will talk about the reaction and the response to, these assholes that have never put 5 seconds worth of effort into this, opening their mouth just to be argumentative and get a bro clap on the back of their hand, from the other bros that don't know fuck all about this stuff.
All I'm going to say is I'm going to read what Mark said. You can say they aren't relevant, but they sat in the White House in the same room as Greg and Tony.
He's talking about PAVE.
Right. But they were in the White House.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't think anybody that was in that room was really relevant to tell you the truth. Nothing happened. That meeting, as awesome as it was for about 5 minutes, right, that we could say, hey, we met with the president. But there was, nothing happened as a result of that meeting.
Right.
Nothing long term.
Yep.
It was a good photo op. The president was in a sticky situation. Mm-hmm. He had to do something, and that was what he did. And it was great. it was great to have Greg there. It was great to have the guy from Fontum there that said great things about flavors. It was great to have Tony there. But I mean, really, within a couple days of that happening, Tony got put on CNN, and no matter, I mean, I fucking warned, I said, you need to watch Cuomo because he's going to rip you. He did the same thing to Greg. So what they have is money. Pave has backing.
Lots of
money. And I can guarantee you Michael Bloomberg has written them a fucking check.
Yep.
And that's just another example of he with the biggest paycheck or the biggest checkbook wins.
Mm-hmm. And the touching on focus of being angry at the wrong thing. At times I've completely been guilty of it too. Especially at the very beginning, I was in there like, what in the fuck is wrong with you people? I didn't.
You people?
You damn people. I wasn't real happy with a whole lot of shit that I could see and didn't understand. And eventually I figured it out. I was told about it.
Well, you were young and naive and probably thought the government was actually there to help you.
I was, and I'm guilty. And eventually I went, oh, you fucks. So I would rather go after, as meaningless as they may or may not be, Pave on occasion when it crosses my eye while I have it in my head and get it out of my system than to think I should tweet at them. Them fuckers. I don't troll them specifically. I don't know who did what, but when it came up, I was like, oh, you bitches.
Well, that's like me and Tahir Turk.
Right. Exactly.
But I've been a good boy.
Well, I don't know.
I haven't responded to Tahir Turk in like 4 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know.
It took me a minute. Like I would go into the little private chat group that we're in and say, guys, we really shouldn't interact with him. He's irrelevant. He has like 60 followers.
Did you?
And then I would turn around and blast his ass.
I never heard of this idiot. Dr. Amen, I think, or Amen, or whatever his name is. Have you ever heard of him? He's a Dr. Philite or whatever. So he said he's some kind of brain alleged expert, and he said that dopamine's bad for you because if you vape, it increases your dopamine. So I've just researched his dumb ass, and I think, oh, there's fraud. So I post that shit, and then I look up dopamine since he's a brain guy, and it's good for you on this one, and it's bad on this. Oh, what?
As somebody, I mean, as somebody who is the spouse of a person that has dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife takes a dopamine replacement because her body doesn't produce enough.
Well, I didn't even go that far with you. All I did was, wait a minute, you're the wrong motherfucker to say something like this. And I know goddamn well you're going to have something about dopamine somewhere else in your Twitter line. And like Mark said, oh shit, did he get hammered? He didn't block me though. I'm very, very upset about that.
Guess what, Kevin?
What?
There's a whole section in your brain. There's a specialized area in your brain called the substantia nigra. And its job is to produce dopamine.
He's a fucking retard. How could you? He deleted the tweet. I will say for the record, for anybody that listens later on, he did delete the tweet. But how could you be that fucking stupid?
Dopamine is a drug. It is a chemical that is produced by your brain and inside your body that creates a pleasure response.
Well, he had children don't exercise enough, and I said, well, they
and it also
dopamine.
And it also controls movement.
Oh my god!
It's also a component of movement,
right?
But you need that.
You got some dumb fuck going off about vaping all of a sudden on Twitter, and I'm gonna put you in your place. I'm not educated. I don't have a fucking scientific bone in my body. I know that when I put water in my coffee pot, coffee comes out. That's as good.
Only if you put water and coffee.
See, I'm not very scientific.
If you put just water in there, it's going to make hot water.
But sex, walking, you increase your dopamine when you fucking walk. So fuck off, you fucking idiot. Anyway, that's my take on this. Stop focusing on the shit that you ain't gonna change, and try to get somebody else underneath. Now him I went a little harder at than usual, but
he's fair game because
yeah.
Now,
fair game.
No curse words.
No, I didn't cuss at him.
But yes, you can put him in his place.
It's more fun. It's way more fun.
I would much rather figure out a way to put Michael Bloomberg in his place.
Yeah. Well,
I would much rather focus on the big dog and just get a few people to acknowledge that I embarrassed him.
Yeah.
Like for me, embarrassing the Surgeon General will always be something that I remember. Like getting him to stutter and to,
Poor Jerry.
you know, Jerry. And now to hear, or not to hear, what's the guy's name? Murphy, Vivek Murphy.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to focus on the moment that I see an opportunity to embarrass him.
I don't think he's given us any yet. I haven't looked hard. But
he's been. I mean, I haven't been tweeting, but I've been reading tweets.
They probably hasn't. Shut the fuck up.
He hasn't really.
Listen, Vivek, Jerry did enough. Stay low.
Don't go to Hawaii.
Some guy named Patrick's gonna rip your ass if you don't keep your head down. Freaking idiots.
If you see hashtag Son of Liberty, run away.
Listen, if you and I can outsmart these intelligent people, you know, I think we're doing all right.
I think we're intelligent.
Well,
we just may not be book smart. Well, I am book smart though, because I 12 years of college. So you know,
I speak a lot of cab driver, so it doesn't matter to me. I really
just because you're not educated, don't mean you're not intelligent.
Well, I look this way to fool people. That's all.
Yeah,
but verbal.
You didn't get good looks, so you gotta take ownership of what you do have.
I had to compensate somewhere else. All I know is the verbal gymnastics is kind of fun. That's all.
You got a good vocabulary, except for the constant mentioning of the Sayonara Amendment, which nobody cares about except for Florida, apparently.
I know.
I think Leanne on drugs.
If more people cared about the Sayonara Amendment, we'd be in less trouble. That's my opinion. No, she's calling me Pop Rocks because they're smaller.
But she keeps saying Pop Rocks, and I missed the reference.
It's me. I'm a Pop Rock. I'm not quite sure how. I said Tic Tac, and then it became Pop Rock. I don't know because it's smaller.
Well, I mean, obviously,
and Paul's happy about it.
You are implying that Paul's penis is the size of a Tic Tac.
Via your reference, yes.
No. You were the one that brought up Tic Tacs the first time.
No, it was him that brought it up.
I'd have to go back into the Twitter group and look, but I believe you were the first one to post a GIF with Tic Tacs.
That might be. That might.
You know who I think it was? That it was the originator of the Tic Tacs.
I'm not positive. I don't know.
It might have been. Oh, give me a second here. It might have been.
Leanna's properly buzzed.
I can tell. Where did it go? There we go. Let's see. I know who it was. I think I know who it was. I think it was Pippa.
Oh, it might have been.
That might have been the first to bring up Pop Rocks.
I may have hit the bed.
I think she's the one that stirred the pot, and then you just jumped in.
It may have been Pippa. I don't remember. Oh, that's all right.
Well, Pippa's fun.
I like Pop Rocks. Either way. Yeah.
Quit talking about Paul having a Pop Rocks or a I see. I could really turn that around. Pop rocks. Because what happens when you put Pop Rocks in your mouth, Kevin?
They explode. Yeah. It's a good thing I'm not drinking. That's all I can say. So focus your energy on who needs to be smacked in the mouth.
Bring who back on?
Huh? What?
Tom says bring her back on. I'm like, who?
Pippa?
We've never had Pippa on.
I don't know if that's who you mean, Tom.
I think Pippa would be fun.
Well, I think so too.
We've had tons of Aussies on though. That's the thing is I feel like we've focused a lot on Australia and New Zealand, and we do have a lot of friends in Australia and New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
But my whole idea was to bring in people from other parts of the world, and we did. And then we sort of ran out of ideas. We need to get more people.
Sidetracked.
Yes, we need to get more harm reduction people. We need to get more policymakers. We need to get, just more quality guests back on, because we had a string of just amazing guests come on the show, and then I had to have surgery, and then everything sort of,
I asked
eventually
Jerry,
everything will get. Jerry would never come on. He's
for
a
like
coward.
a year straight. I asked him to come on.
I've never had Pippa on, Tom.
I thought we did have him.
No, we never had Pippa on.
Who do we have? Maybe
From Australia, we have tons of people. We had
Senator
Stephen. We had
yep.
He's the Canadian that lives in Australia. We had obviously we've had Paul on. We've had I had Bogan on. I've had we did a whole special show for Bogan.
Yeah.
We had Senator Holly Hughes on.
Yep.
From New Zealand, we had Nancy Lucas, and we had
maybe you should. Dr. Glover.
We had Dr. Glover on twice. Holly needs to come back, but I think Holly got probably muzzled after that financial review piece, because I've messaged her and she's never responded back. So I don't know if maybe after that news piece came out where they quoted her so many times from my show, if her party members were like, you stay off of that American guy show.
That might be. I think you're universal. I don't know that you're.
Well, obviously I live in America.
Yeah.
So we do talk a lot about American stuff, but we tried to have Bard on, and Bard had internet problems, and it didn't. I was
off that one.
It was not great because of the sound quality. And we've had
Mark,
Canadian stuff on. We've had.
Yeah, he was Canadian. Okay.
Who?
Mark.
Dr. Mark Tyndall. Yes, he was Canadian. Yes. We obviously we've had Bill on, and
Kelly is
Canadian. We've had Dr. Samrat Chitauri. I was in talks for a long time to get Clive Bates on, but obviously he's in Africa, which makes it really hard. So if we did a show with Clive, it would not be at our normal time.
Yeah.
We'd have to set up a special, like I've seen him, like it would have to be like 3 a.m. our time or something,
Yeah.
To get him.
The line, yeah.
Obviously I would be asking him to step into our time zone. That would be impossible. So we'd have to step into his or find some sort of happy medium.
He might have
yeah. We need to get an Irish vape advocate on.
Okay.
From Ireland.
All right.
So that we got to wait till I'm completely recovered though, so that I can drink. Yes, we had Henna John.
Yep. I think we've had a good roll.
We did have a great string of guests.
Yeah.
That no, as far as I'm concerned, no vape media show has had such a huge, diverse grouping of scientists and policymakers and policy advocates from all over the world. All on. I think we had a string. We were even talking with a presidential candidate for a while, and that sort of petered out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they looked at the show and they're like, "Oh my God, no, we can't have our presidential candidate on that show."
You shouldn't have ruined it for them.
I know, right?
Probably the Karen thing.
They'll be like, "Oh, Patrick, we would have been on the show, but Kevin said Karen. We don't want to alienate all of our voters that are Karens, so we can't be on that show."
And what is this Tic Tac thing?
Why are you talking about some Australian dude's penis?
Yeah, we do limit ourselves a little, don't we? We don't care.
No.
Not that much.
And you're doing all of this with some redheaded baby running in the background.
That's right. That's right. He's going to be a guest eventually. Kevin Rudd. Who's Kevin Rudd?
He apparently is an ex-Australian PM.
Okay.
And he's anti-murder cock.
I'm not sure what that means.
Sounds like some sort of Japanese anime sort of tentacle thing.
Well, he's against it. Anti.
Yeah.
Elaborate, Paul. What does that mean?
I mean, does it break off and like run around killing people, or
I'm not a drop bear.
How is that physically working? You know.
Oh, he hates Murdoch.
Oh, Murdoch. Oh.
Autocorrect. I missed that reference completely. All right. Well, call Bloomberg, get him on, and let me know.
Yeah, we need to get Bloomberg on. What we need to do is do a series of anti-vape memes.
Yeah. All right. I got to
and tag Bloomberg in every one of them and say, please come on our show and talk about your public health victories in destroying vaping.
Yeah.
And then you get on the show and then we'd be like, oh, by the way, we're all vapors and we just suckered you.
Yeah. Something about sugar in Mexico today. I think it's taxing sugar now.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Coke from Mexico is the bomb.
Because it's sugar, right?
Because it's sugar.
Right. I like real Pepsi. I don't like the bullshit.
So
I don't like the corn syrup shit.
So here in Texas, we can get imported Coke at the HEB.
Oh.
But you have to go to the international food aisle where they have the the Asian cuisine and the Mexican cuisine and stuff. It's all on one aisle. And at the end of the aisle, they have Coke and Pepsi in glass bottles from Mexico.
Yeah. Even better. Yeah, it's like the Pepsi. I appreciate the regular Pepsi.
Without the high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
So yeah, you can get Mexican Coke and Pepsi at the end of the aisle on the international aisle.
Well, in my
opinion, the glass bottles.
They have
the 1 liter. You remember the 1 liter glass bottles?
Yes, sir.
They have those.
I have a tweet with Fleabag Lady, by the way. Fleabag Lady has named me an honorary Brit, and I love her dearly. Quite some time back, there was some kind of a corn syrup, and I made a joke about big corn syrup or big sugar, whichever it was. And you know what? I'm going to look that up. No shit, they are big corn syrup and big sugar. They fight each other, just like big tobacco and big vape and big whatever.
Oh, you don't even want to know what all the bad stuff is in high fructose corn syrup.
God.
Let alone in aspartame and the artificial sweeteners. I don't drink soft drinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Texas, the HEB store sodas, on the side of the box it says pure cane sugar.
Yeah.
They want everybody to know that there's no artificial sweeteners in those.
Yep.
And their orange soda is the best.
Yeah, the corn, we have a corn syrup factory. I can smell it most of the time. Probably 5 miles from here. Ooh-wee. And I've been told over the years by a few people, don't be drinking that shit. Which, you know, your government will never lie to you. You know?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
So yeah, it makes me nervous. And Janice, Janice loves her soda. So
yeah, I've always been a iced tea kind of guy.
Yeah.
So we always have a couple gallons of iced tea.
I swear you
never
said
know
tea, but all right.
You never know when somebody's gonna come and you might need to entertain.
That's right. With
Gotta
real
keep
sugar.
your iced tea nearby.
All right, the dog wants out.
I went out too.
You see how helpful everyone is? They're all asleep.
Well, it is like what, 1 o'clock, 1:30 there?
1:30, yep.
Yeah. At your age, you should be in bed at 1:30.
I did go. I was in bed before you guys were even on last week. Or I'd have been on. But I
know.
like the substitute Kevin's. I really did.
Oh, Big Knowledge was hella fun, man.
Oh, I love him. Don't tell him.
Well, he's already gone. He was here earlier, but he already took off.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chocolate pickle thing was fun because I messaged him and we were here. I'll even show it on screen real quick.
Uh-oh.
I said, because we were talking about chocolate covered stuff, and I sent him the link for this.
Chocolate covered pickles.
Share screen. There we go. And there's an ad.
Of course, there's an ad.
And then there's a picture of chocolate covered pickle on a stick. And it's a recipe.
You do you. Something wrong with something.
Chocolate covered pickles.
I don't like pickles, so it doesn't matter to me. But
and he turned around and his response was, no. That's hella disrespectful. So
oh my God.
I'm gonna start sending him like stuff with chocolate covered something just to see what his response will be. But all right, Kev, I guess we'll go to sleep for the night. What is it that you want to end tonight with?
I'm tired of saying it ain't over, but it isn't over. I'm not shutting up. I'm really not. And Leanna, a Fitbit might be a good idea.
I actually have a smartwatch that does everything a Fitbit does and more.
And more. I don't know sometimes what's worth doing and what's not, so I do it anyway. And I hope in business, when those of you folks who are in business, I get why you're not as aggressive. And I've offered before and I'll offer again. If you want to say something and you can't do it on your own account, make your own or tell me to do it. I'll do it. I ain't scared. I got literally nothing to lose. As Amanda said quite some time ago, we have zero to lose. You know, there's no limits and there's no target too soft or too hard, in my opinion. If you're touting, you know, harm reduction on one hand and beating the shit out of each other on the other, check yourself at the door for a minute and think about what you're doing.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, that too. And then think about it. Think of what your mama told you. If you ain't got something nice to say it anyway. Well, that was my mom. So you gotta target the right people, not the wrong people. Those people that you think are assholes or don't know anything, might still actually be doing something. You never know. So I'm going to go along the lines of what Patrick said. I don't defend that, but there's still more to do as a consumer, for me at least. Until it's over, I'm not done. So thank you guys for listening to us babble about chocolate and pickles. and
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11 and all the other good stuff. And Paul, I love you no matter what I say about you. So there you go. I love you guys. And Patrick, you can hit it and go.
Well, we talked about this is a new topic before we go. This will be the end, but I think that people are watching the show and listening to the replays because things that I've been saying for years are now being said by other people, like in big media outlets. So I had a long discussion. We've talked about reduced nicotine cigarettes on the show multiple times. We had Dr. Charles Gardner on. He expressed one point of view about them. We had Dr. Marwa Glover on to talk about actual studies that they conducted while she was in tobacco control on reduced nicotine cigarettes. But today, the Reason produced a piece on reduced nicotine cigarettes and say all the same stuff that I've been saying about reduced nicotine cigarettes for years.
I've got three or four books going back to 2016 or 17. They have made over $100 million. If you recall, we did discuss this. So yeah, this is
so. I mean, obviously, the FDA wants to lower nicotine in all cigarettes, which will make smokers smoke more. This is what I've been saying for a long time. It's pretty much what Dr. Glover said when she was on. She said that when they gave away the reduced nicotine cigarettes to the people, they would smoke their reduced nicotine cigarettes and then run to the corner store and buy regular cigarettes to augment. So this is exactly what I've been saying. People that smoke these cigarettes either are going to smoke more or they're going to smoke all of the cigarettes, the free cigarettes, and then they're going to turn around and buy regular ones to supplement what they're missing from the reduced ones. And I'm not going to read this, but I just wanted to point out here, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to throw it into the chat room. All the points that I've been saying for years that a lot of people have poo-pooed, even people in like CASA, like argued with me about this. I say that if people are addicted to something and you give them something that has less of the thing that you're addicted to, you're going to go and get more of the ones that have what you want in them. It really, it just dumbfounds me. They're going to reduce the thing in the deadly product that's the least harmful. They're not reducing tar. They're not reducing any of the carcinogens. They're not reducing any of the harmful things. They're reducing the one thing that's the least harmful. And people are going to smoke more. I don't care what anyone says.
And
if you reduce the chemical that keeps people from buying these products or keeps people buying these products, the thing that the people that use those products need, all they're going to do is get more.
And in my opinion, and I've been ridiculed 1,000 times for it, it's not the nicotine, kids. Nicotine is your throat hit, as I can tell. Watch the
Nicotine
film,
is
you don't
what
know no nicotine.
Nicotine is what releases that dopamine in the brain that's so bad for you, Kevin.
Right.
Nicotine is the thing that gives you the pleasure, that gives you the enjoyment, the thing that reduces your stress. The reason people smoke, at least the reason a lot of people smoke, is because they're stressed. They're living in situations that cause them pressure, cause them stress, cause them anxiety, and cigarettes produce a chemical in your brain that's beneficial regardless of whatever some dumbass on Twitter said, that produces a pleasure response. It's a stimulant. It helps your brain function better. It reduces the fatigue even when you're tired and you smoke a cigarette. It gives you a little pep to keep working. All those things are beneficial.
That's, by the way, just so anybody that doesn't know, to keep up, they're reducing literally nicotine only, nothing else, nothing.
Yeah,
we
had Dr. Charles Gardner on the show, who's
that's what they're doing,
pretty knowledgeable on the topic, and we had him on the show, and I specifically asked him, reduce nicotine cigarettes. Are any of the carcinogens reduced? No.
Nope.
Are any of the other harmful irritants reduced? No.
No.
So the only thing they're reducing is the nicotine.
Right.
So answer me a question. If you smoke a cigarette, I'm just throwing a number out there. That has 24 milligrams of nicotine in it. And then the new reduced nicotine, very low VLN, very low nicotine cigarette has 12 or 10 milligrams of nicotine in it.
Yeah.
If your body wants you to have that 24 milligrams of nicotine, you're going to smoke 3 times as much, depending on the level, 2 to 3 times as much. So you're getting 2 to 3 times as many carcinogens, 2 to 3 times as many irritants, 2 to 3 times the harmful chemicals that are in the combustible cigarette,
right,
by reducing the nicotine.
Funny thing is, Patrick, when you have tobacco companies.
Kevin froze. Kevin, you're frozen. I bet you he had a really good point too. Maybe if I boot him from the show, he'll come back. You want to see? Because if he doesn't come back, I'm just getting the show and say goodnight. Let's see. Let's see if he comes back. I'll give him 2 minutes. I booted him. Because I could ban him, but then I don't want to ban him because I want him to come back. But I booted him. I gave him the boot. So I'm gonna reiterate. If there's a vape shop or a vape guy in the thing that has a wholesale account that wants to order a Joytech E-roll kit and a couple boxes of filters and pods, I will give you a free sponsorship on Smoke Free Radio. Because you have to send it as a personal gift because we don't want to get you in trouble for sending something as a business. Little did they know they can't ban person-to-person shipments, but they can ban business-to-person. So, yeah. I see a big black market of people buying stuff in one place that's not available over here for their friends. Hey, PayPal me and I will go buy that shit for you and ship it to you. Probably going to happen. But it doesn't look like Kevin's coming back. So, you know what? We're just going to end it there. I just want everybody to realize you don't have to be a dick on social media. You don't have to say the first thing that comes to mind without thinking on social media. Put some thought into stuff, Ask yourself, is it important for me to say this? Seriously, is it important? Is what you're going to say going to be impactful? And is it going to change something? Because when I see people in the vaping world attacking other people in the vaping world, saying stupid ass shit that has no relevance, that doesn't that's not important. And all it's going to do is get people riled up. Your bros are going to attack their bros, and their bros are going to attack your bros. What's the fucking point? If we're in this battle to win, we have to be unified. And that means that people that are competing in the marketplace, people that don't necessarily, I don't like those vape cloudy guys or those whatever guys. We have to stand together. And there is no unity. There's none. There's no community. There hasn't been for a long time. I see a bunch of fucking assholes who want to be, that feel self-important. I'm not important. Kevin's not important. We're just a bunch of guys, a couple guys, who do some research and bring you information. Sometimes we bring the voices of guests to come on and try to help you, try to spread the word. But by and large, I don't focus on the vaping people. I don't participate in vape groups. I focus on, tweeting, trying to interact with people that are outside of our community, trying to spread the word about tobacco harm reduction, trying to talk to people that are in drug harm reduction, drug policy experts, trying to get them to support tobacco harm reduction, trying to get them to speak up for tobacco harm reduction. You won't see me in Vape Bros group on Facebook talking, about stuff because it's pointless. Educating those people, not the people in the chat room, because you guys have demonstrated for years that you're interested in learning. But after I got banned by, groups for posting advocacy information in their vape groups, I've lost interest. So anyway, just remember, just ask yourself, is this important? Is me jumping into this fur ball going to do anything? 9 times out of 10, it's not. The people that are in those groups are already, going to do what they're going to do. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago or last week. Some newbie came in and asked about battery wraps and discoloration on their batteries, and some asshole told them to put it in boiling water and wash it out. Fucking battery. If you're willing to do that to somebody who you are supposed to be unified with, I don't need you. Nobody fucking needs you. Dig a hole and crawl in and pull the dirt around you because you are worthless. But anyway, love you guys. I'll see you in 7 days. Kevin's computer probably took a shit on him or something. Y'all have a great weekend. Go and find your kids and give them a hug. Find your wife or your husband. Plant a big wet one on them. Enjoy your weekend. This is not football season yet, so there's not really anything good on TV. So go outside and get some fresh air. And we'll see you in 7 days. Peace.
No, never give up, never surrender.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
Never forget the elephant in the room. It's actually such a big elephant that I don't think people can even breathe in that room. It's such a huge elephant. It's the number one preventable cause of death in Australia. So when you are taking a precautionary approach, when you're like, no, we just don't know enough, I just tell them, shut up, because that just, I don't know, is killing people right now.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
It's not about really quitting smoking. Their ideological viewpoint against vaping is so strong and so weird. Like, honestly, it's just weird. I don't know why it invokes this incredible sort of anger from these people. I mean, this colleague of mine said to me when I first moved to get the inquiry up, her comment to me was, why don't they just use a patch? And I said to her, do you smoke? And she's like, no. I said, have you ever smoked? And she said, no. And I said, well, shut up then. You don't know how hard it is to quit smoking.
Engorged, anus.